Welcome everybody to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I am your host, Cody Lashley, back at you with another show that is for Carolina Panther fans by Carolina Panther fans. If you would like to be a part of that discussion, all you have to do is hit the link to the Streamyard. I've pinned it to the top of the YouTube chat and to the top of the Facebook chat. We appreciate each and every single one of you spending your Friday afternoons here with the boys talking Carolina Panthers. And listen, man, we're sort of starting to wind down the season, and inevitably we're going to kind of be looking to some off-season moves that the Panthers can still make, while also talking about the ramifications of some of the decisions that we have made, such as drafting Jonathan Brooks in the second round. We might not see him till the middle of his rookie contract being over. So much to talk about, but we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. First up, you know him, you love him. We call him the brand ambassador. It's my man, Diesel Skills. Diz, what's up, brother?
What is going on, Cody? I am pumped up tonight. As you can see here on my background, I am drinking the Carolina Kool-Aid this week, the first time in over 2 years that the Carolina Panthers have been favored in a game. And, of course, it's against none other than America's team, allegedly, the Dallas Cowboys. The Carolina Reapers and BY9 are coming out to put Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys out of their misery upcoming this Sunday. We got some hot tamales with Adam Thielen and, of course, Chuba Hubbard contributing. And don't forget, Jalen Coker may very well be back also. So some exciting things coming from this offense in Bank of America Stadium. We get to embarrass the Cowboys, and this Carolina Panthers team rolls forward into next season on a high note, Cody. I'm ready to rock and roll this Friday, so let's roll, brother.
Let's roll, brother. Let's have a free-for-all, boys. Next up, my man, C3 910 Kyle in the building. Kyle, what's up, brother? Welcome back to another free-for-all.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Cody. It's a great day. It's always a good day. It's here at C3. You know, we rock the brand every day. We talk about these Panthers every day, you know, and every day there's something else to talk about, you know, and some other new development or some other perspective that one of these awesome fans gives us, you know, and every nugget, you know, we need every one of them. So we're going to break this thing down. Glad to do it with y'all boys.
Yes, sir. We're going to have a great conversation. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have not done so already, boys, let's jump right into it, man. There has been a lot of talk around the internet. One, let's be real about Xavier Leggett, out of the continued drops that he continues to have. He recently said that his wrist is injured, but he says that's no excuse for him dropping these passes. My question is, and then we'll jump into some of the options a little bit later on. We'll sort of weigh who those options might be. But do you feel that right now, one of the number one priorities for the Carolina Panthers going into 2025 is to secure a number one wide receiver in this draft or free agency period? And to that, I'm going to throw it to my man who thinks that I forgot to intro him, but I definitely didn't. It's my brother, Jake the Snake F.U. Jake, welcome to the Free For All, bro. And how do you feel about Xavier Leggett and these wide receivers right now?
I'm doing good, Coach. Chilling. And I'm not as worried about Xavier. I know I kind of criticize him a little bit about his speed, but I know a lot of people take that out, you know, and run with it. I'm not saying that he's a bust or anything like that. He's already better than Jonathan Mingo and Terrence Marshall by a lot already at this point. Yeah. So I'm definitely not out on Leggett. I've still got faith that he could potentially be a number one. He's a rookie. I mean, we're asking a lot of this guy already, and then we found out that he had a hand injury, which he is kind of, you know, saying it's not the reason why he's dropping anything. But I mean, still, it's legit. It's an injury, you know. It's a legit injury. It's nothing like, you know, scoff at or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm definitely not out on Xavier. I think he could potentially be a one, but I still think we should add to this wide receiver room.
So a little bit of both. There's number one wide receiver potential in him, yet that shouldn't be enough to prevent us from going out and grabbing someone new.
Not at all.
Yeah, okay. Kyle, what's your assessment on this, man? What's the urgency of a number one wide receiver in Carolina? And can Xavier still be that guy?
So I'm going to stick to my guns. Like last year, draft time, I knew that we couldn't solve all the problems that we had. We couldn't plug all the holes that this roster had in one off season. So I knew last year that because we didn't get a number one receiver, even though we brought in Deontay Johnson, that was a trade. You know, he did take the X reps, but that doesn't mean that he was a legitimate number one wide receiving threat. I knew last year that this year we were going to have to get a number one wide receiver. And it really doesn't have so much to do with Xavier Legette coming out and playing decently, you know, for a rookie. It has more to do with the fact that, you know, your fourth best target is Coker. And that's not bad, but he should be, you know, like the wild card. You're like, oh man, we really got to push to get him on the field. You know, for me, like that number one wide receiver would be taking the spot that David Moore has had. And I think that a real number one wide receiver with real current talent and skill that's proven that he can do, you know, things on a week-to-week basis. You replace David Moore with a guy like that, and this team has a lot more catches, has a lot more yards. Bryce has a lot more passing yards. David Moore's been all right for us, but you imagine if he was a guy like a Tee Higgins, like a Christian Kirk, like a, you know, some of these other guys that are bigger named, you know, receivers. You put them in the space of David Moore, and this team becomes a little bit more dynamic. So I definitely think that we need one, but I can't say that Xavier Legette isn't going to be one. He's just not right now.
Yeah. So these, the name that you're hearing thrown around a lot, especially because Sports Illustrated just put out an article basically predicting that the Panthers would go out and sign Clemson wide receiver Tee Higgins, and they hypothesized it for a $21.8 million contract. Is this something that is doable for the Panthers? And how much faith have you lost in Xavier Legette? And do you think that he still just needs more time? Or do you have some real concerns about him being that prospect that we moved up and drafted him in the first round to beat?
I don't have any doubts in Xavier Legette, actually. I do have some doubts in him getting that surgery in the offseason. You know, he said in an interview this week, Cody, that ligament has been torn in his hand since 2021. And he didn't say that it really bothered him that much, but he did express his feelings to get that taken care of and finally get that surgery in the offseason. And it probably had a lot to do with him getting paid. I would think getting an NFL contract and having the money to get that kind of thing done, I would assume, because I'm sure that's an elective type surgery. So, you know, I have some qualms about that. I wonder about a young man getting his hand operated on. I wonder about the recovery from that. I wonder about complications from that surgery, like we saw with the DJ Wanham. All those things bother me, you know. But I think the man has ability. But if he had wide receiver one ability, I think we would have seen it by now. When we talk about a wide receiver one, we're talking about a guy that can get like 150 yards or something like that in a game, or a guy that can break the game wide open with multiple touchdowns. And we haven't really seen that from Legette. I think he's played great. I think he's an asset to the team along with Jalen Coker. But there's no doubt in my mind that the Panthers will be looking to add a weapon like Tee Higgins in the offseason, certainly if it's a possibility. I think that some wins here to end out the season, especially like another big game from Bryce Young, like a 4-touchdown game we haven't seen, a 350-yard game from Bryce Young we haven't seen. I think those types of things would allure someone like Tee Higgins. What bothers me and concerns me about getting that type of upper echelon player, Cody, is you look at Frankie Louvu and you look at Patrick Queen. Both those guys were targeted by the Panthers, but elected to go somewhere else for the same amount or less money because they didn't want to be here. And that's what concerns me in getting a guy like Tee Higgins. That's why I feel like even though it would hurt our draft stock to win games here late in the season, it's probably necessary to draw free agents like a Tee Higgins.
Yeah, and especially with the way Bryce has played. So now you're going to have a wide receiver who says, okay, there's a burgeoning superstar down there in Carolina, And again, who knows if he thinks Bryce is a superstar, but many people are saying that he's starting to look that way, looking very good, keeping us in the game the entirety of the time. That's going to be a real asset going forward if he continues to play well, because that'll be a little bit easier to get Tee Higgins down here back playing football in the Carolinas. I think we're also sitting pretty good in the fact that he went to college in South Carolina at Clemson. He is, so he's already used to the area. But again, man, it benefits us having a rich owner who has deep pockets, who can outright guarantee all the money that Higgins is probably going to be looking for. I do think, yeah, go ahead.
We look at last year, right, in free agency. We were able to do this. We were able to land a top free agent. Robert Hunt, well, I'm sure, was desired by many teams in the NFL. But the free agent period, you overpay. And as a matter of fact, they say it's about, you pay about 120% of what the market would pay the player. And in this case with Tee Higgins, it certainly won't be $21.8 million. It's going to be much more than that, probably a figure closer to 30 or maybe above that. I don't know what the number is going to be, but we will overpay to get Tee Higgins. So the point about the money is a good one. But we did it last year, Cody, on offense, and I hope that we can do it again this year. It would be a great asset for sure.
Some people have also thrown out the name Garrett Wilson, who is another name who might want to be traded in the offseason. Now, again, you would have to trade for a player like that. But let me ask y'all this, though, man. One of the criticisms of a player like Tee Higgins is that he isn't necessarily a burner. He is very, very skilled, incredibly big body. He can go up and grab any type of ball. But some people have said that he doesn't necessarily offer the skill set that we're looking for. Do any of you think that there's any truth to that? And that's for whoever, boys. It's a free for all.
I mean, I would gauge on that a little bit, because I mean, like, we're talking about, Coker and Leggett are both bigger body guys that go up and make contested catches. Jatavion Sanders is a bigger body guy, even as a tight end, going up and making contested catches. So if we have three weapons technically on the line on any given play that are your contested catch guys, you're absolutely right, Cody. Where's the fast guy that comes underneath? I'm not sure that Tee Higgins is that guy, and I know we don't have that guy on the roster. So, like Tony would say, where's your Demir Bird? Where's your option guy that no one thinks that's going to catch the ball, that's fast enough to get away from a linebacker or maybe even a defensive end dropping out to try and catch him in the flat? I like Tee Higgins. I like the skill set, but I'm not sure that is exactly what we need. I think we need a shifty, small, really fast, easy to separate guy.
You know where that is? You know where that is, bro?
In the draft.
He's in the New York Jets wearing number 5. His name's Garrett Wilson.
By the way,
this
this is Nick from Tri-State. What's
up,
Nick?
Fellas? What's going on?
How we doing, Nick?
So you're a Garrett Wilson fan. You would prefer to trade for Wilson rather than
it depends what Garrett Wilson's demanding, but I think I agree with what homie just said. I think Garrett Wilson fits the Panthers better than Tee Higgins, because you already got 2 big body guys. You need a guy who could work the underneath routes and those option routes and manipulate the middle of the field. So it opens up those outside guys. It just fits better.
Right.
Garrett Wilson's a better wide receiver in general anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I just saw him cook Jalen Ramsey like bad a few times, like real bad. He had him stumbling.
Did you think that a player like Higgins would be a bad signing?
No. I like him as a backup option. I'd look more to Garrett as the primary guy, and then if that doesn't fall through, if they're asking for too much, then it's like, all right, well, we'll go after Tee Higgins and throw him some bread. I wouldn't hate the signing. I'd love that signing too. I just prefer Garrett Wilson for sure.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Xavier Leggett has shown an inability to be a number 1 wide receiver? Or
it's still too early to tell, just like it was too early to tell for Bryce. You know what I mean? Like, he's young. Yeah. He's clearly going through it. He's hurt right now, and he's in a complicated situation because it's like he's clearly hurt, but there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. You know what I mean? So he feels like he could play through it. Unfortunately, it's messed up, and we've lost some games and had some critical turnovers because of it. But he's in a complicated situation because it's like he's young. He's trying to earn his stripes with his teammates. So it's a real – I know people could say, yeah, he's hurting the team. But, man, when you, like me, when I was in college and you the freshman, it's like you're trying to earn your stripes with the seniors and shit. Like, you're not trying – like, you play hurt to earn that respect. And, you know, I think he's going to grow from it. I think he's willing to learn because I was real skeptical of his route running. But his route running has gotten significantly better since he came into the league. So, to me, that shows he's willing to become great.
Yeah, I think so too. Jake, do I have your
Easy.
You want to close this up, man?
Yeah, I got you.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do the Carolina Panthers need to upgrade this wide receiver position?
20. You said 1 to 10?
Yeah.
An 8. Really, between a 7 and an 8.
So, thinking about everyone we have too, that's Adam Thielen,
Yep.
Xavier Leggett, Jalen Coker. You know, so you're saying that it's an 8. So it's one of the most pressing needs on this Panthers team going into next year.
I think, in my opinion, it's our third most need, really, behind pass rush and corner/safety.
But does pass rush fall in love with D lineman? Because I have D lineman and edge rusher, and then corner.
Well,
and then wide receiver.
It depends on what kind of defense we're going to run. Because if we're talking about getting rid of Evero and switching back to the 4-3, your pass rusher is your defensive line. So I mean, in an ideal situation, in my personal opinion, that's what I would do. If you switch back to the 3-4, you knock out your defensive line and your pass rushers in the same set.
But I think it's fair to say our run defense is worse than our pass defense, and our run defense is worse than our pass rush.
I would agree.
For a while.
I would agree, but
I know Derek Brown's out, and we wouldn't be 32nd in the NFL in run defense if Derek Brown was healthy, but it still would be a pressing need.
Right, you're absolutely right, and you know to kind of bounce off of that, if you take what's his name, Clowney, and you get him off of the line and put him back at linebacker, and you put DJ Johnson at linebacker instead of outside rusher, and you actually get a defensive end that's built for a defensive end, and you put Wanham on one side, Derek Brown and Ashawn Robinson on the inside, that's a much better line against the run.
Yeah, but Clowney and Wanham don't want to put their hand in the ground in a 4-3 anymore. They're 3-4 guys. They want to be 3-4 guys. They want to be outside linebackers in a 3-4. They don't want to put their hand in the ground no more.
An idea that I put forward earlier. We're gonna. Hey, this is a free for all, boys. We're gonna jump around and talk about a lot of different things. Tonight's more of an off the cuff kind of night. So whatever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about. But talking about what we're gonna do to upgrade the team in the offense, or in the off season, I really want us to make it where this free agency period at the end of this year is going to set us up for a draft where we can go best player available, where we don't feel like we must draft a wide receiver, or we must draft an outside linebacker. Trying to fill as many of those holes as possible in free agency, so you can just say the best possible player, no matter who or what that is. And I genuinely believe that this offseason, the Panthers need one big signing and or trade on both the offense and the defense. To me, I feel like if you're going on offense, I believe Tee Higgins probably does make the most sense from a financial perspective. I love what the Blue Iron said here. Higgins won't be too expensive because you're getting a guy who is still producing, and you're not having to give up anything to get him in terms of like trade value. You'll be able to give him a reasonable deal. It's not like he's on Jamar Chase type money. He's not on even CeeDee Lamb type money, I wouldn't think. So that would be doable for us. Now, on defense, let's just say that we continue to play well and we retain Ajiro Rivero for another year as the defensive coordinator. I would want for us to make a trade for Alex Highsmith, the outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh
Mm.
Steelers, if they would be willing to give him up for the proper compensation, since we do have 10 draft picks, and you'd finally be able to put a premier pass rusher on this defensive line that allows you to do a lot of different things during the draft on either side of the football that you're wanting to. So those are my two names, but I'm just hoping that we do that though. We have one fire signing on both the
That's
offensive side of the ball and
that's
the
interesting.
defensive side of the ball.
That's interesting. That's real
Yeah.
interesting. Now, I love what you said there, Cody, and I would have to when you asked me about the Tee Higgins thing. You know, it really does make sense because I don't know. You guys tell me if you agree or disagree. I think personally on the offense, if you do sign Tee Higgins, you're looking at it where it's like, all right, we got a receiver now. We can just focus the draft on just drafting defensive guys. You know what I mean? Because the offense would damn near be set, right? You got Icky, you got Lewis, Icky, who we'd have to re-sign. It's looking if you sign Tee Higgins or, for example, trade a second and one of our fourth rounders, which we have 3 of for Garrett Wilson. You're looking at the draft where it's like, all right, we'll just draft all defensive players. We can get Mason Graham, and then this is a deep draft with edge rushers. You can get Landon Jackson or Jack Sawyer in the second round, so you could double down on that D line. And with Derek Brown coming back, that's looking like a revitalized group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I don't think we stay completely from the offensive line in the draft, though. As good as it is, though, I don't want to stop adding to it. I think we're at a good place, and I think when you're that good with talent, like you see the rotation that we got now at center.
Mhm.
I mean, while it's good, you might as well add more to it.
We'd
Now,
have
I'm not
to
saying draft very
pay.
high or nothing like that, but you definitely can't go completely against the offensive line.
Is K Mays and Brady both? Aren't they both on expiring contracts?
Yeah, and they'll
both
both
of
have
them.
to get signed. But I mean,
Yeah.
once you sign both of them, that's 6 solid offensive
Yeah, you
linemen.
could
If
look
you
into-
draft
Yeah.
another one, we're all right.
Yeah, you could use one of those fourth round picks and get like a Blake Miller or Ernest Green and have him sit behind Taylor Moton and possibly
Yeah, and
replace
hey,
him
real
after
quick,
a year.
I wanted to shout out my guy Keeb, who runs a Substack called The Blue Room, where he's writing about Carolina Panthers. And if you sign up for free, it'll let you comment under all of his articles. And shout out to the Blue Iron on Substack. He talks a little bit about this, some of the ups and downs of Tee Higgins and basically what he does good and some of the drawbacks that come with him. He says Higgins has already proven he can produce at an elite level, earning a PFF overall grade of 84.4 with a receiving grade of 84.2. That's 10th in the NFL. His size, speed, and contested catchability make him an ideal number 1 option for Bryce Young, whose rookie season has been hampered by a lack of inconsistent weapons. Pairing Higgins with emerging rookies Xavier Liggett and Jalen Coker will give Carolina a formidable receiving corps capable of challenging any type of defense. And that's a good point, too. Like now you're having a lot of different kind of body types that are well-rounded at a lot of these different things. And that would really be a potent offensive attack for Carolina in that way that we really haven't had here in a long time. And, it would be the first time in a long time that the Panthers have really made a big move in free agency for the quarterback that they moved up for number 1 overall. They never
hear
went
you,
out.
Cody.
They never went out in free agency and got a number 1 wide receiver for Cam Newton. So this would be new to our franchise, and I think it would be a breath of fresh air. And I believe that with Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, that they would be able to find the cap room and the cap space, maneuver some things around to be able to make this work pretty much. Let me welcome Panther Pickle into the show. Pickle, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? I heard you talking just a minute ago.
Let me turn your microphone up.
Yeah, you're low, Pickle.
Hang on. Yep. Let me try and turn you up on my end. Let me see if it's my end or your end. All right, I turned you up a little bit. Say something.
All right, are you liking me now?
Yeah,
Good,
that's much better.
Good.
All right, okay. Cade Mays is a restricted free agent next year. So by all intents and purposes, he'll be here next year. He's not an exclusive. I mean, here's how that works. In case you don't know, as restricted, we have to tag him a certain amount. Like we say, okay, he was a 6th-round pick. Let's say we use a 5th-round tag on him. Well, then somebody else looks at him and says, okay, we're going to give you a 3-year, $30 million deal. We can either match that or that team gives us a 5th-round pick. That's how that works. We can tag him at any selection we want. So we can slag him as a 2nd-round or a 3rd-round tag. So anyway, that's how that works. But he's a restricted free agent. Most of the time, those stay with the teams if they're tagged that way. Like Cade will probably stay with us another year.
Yeah, that's going to be a big question. Is who do we feel comfortable playing center for the long term? Cade Mays has looked very damn good. Pickle, what do you think about Xavier Vega? Do you doubt his ability to be a number 1 wide receiver? And what do you think of the potential of going out and signing Tee Higgins in the offseason?
Well, Tee Higgins will cost a lot of money, but your question you ask, is it worth it? Because they can. I know somebody in the comments questioned about tag. They can get money if they need it. That's not that. They can get that. They just have to surrender some people that people don't want to do that. But nonetheless, they can get money like that. But as far as Tee Higgins, I like Tee Higgins. I think he's got a lot of talent. I'm not certain that he comes here, he won't be in that style. You got to remember, Tee Higgins has played the position he plays for the same offense since he came into the league. It's the same style of offense. He comes here, he'll be a different offense. He doesn't have top end speed, but I'm all right bringing him here. But you're going to probably spend maybe, I don't know. You're going to spend top wide receiver money on him because he knows he's going to be the top guy out there, and that's what he's going to do. But if you can do that, you can reserve your draft picks for defense. Or tackle or
to
center.
me, that's why I love it, because you're doing something for your offense in the offseason, and now you can go out and pair Mason Graham or even potentially Travis Hunter if he's going to be there. He might be the number 1 overall pick. Who knows? But there's a lot of different options. Go ahead, Kyle.
I would counter that, Cody, to say, what if the opposite is true? What if, because you're talking about Tee Higgins and, he's probably going to cost, if we were to go get him, probably 60% or more of the available cap that we have to go get him. So in my mind, if I had in one hand, I had Tee Higgins, and in the other hand, I had Myles Garrett, I think I would take Myles Garrett. And I would do the exact same thing that you just said, only in reverse. Now I can use my 1st-round pick on whatever offensive star I need to add to the roster, knowing that Myles Garrett is definitely an upgrade over every position except for Derrick Brown's on that defensive line. So now you've got 2 studs on the line. Plus, you can add your pass rushers in the 2nd and 3rd round. So I don't disagree with you, but I also like it from the other side as well.
Well,
what
we got to remember is a style. Do we really want a team full of the same style receivers? Do you want position style receivers? You want all 3 or 4 positions? You want nobody that's the ability to take the top off? We know. I still think Leggett has a lot of talent. I think he could still be a number 1 at some point in the future, but I do not think that he's ready to do that job now.
That's what I was saying earlier, Pickle.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was saying earlier that we got Jatavion Sanders and Leggett and Coker are all kind of big body contested catches guys, exactly. But we don't have any speedsters.
I like Tee Higgins, man. I just question his injury history, man. I'm worried about that. I know we're gonna have to throw insane type of money at him, and I'm not saying that he's gonna be out the whole year or not, because most of the injuries he's had, he does come back at the end of the year or 4 or 5 games later. But still, those 4 or 5 games, if you really, really need them, that sucks. especially if you're going to be entitled to paying him $25+ million a year.
If I can shout out somebody in the comments, Blue Iron says you're right, but you can't do a post-June trade. You can wait till after June and trade a player, but there's no such thing in the NFL as a post-June trade. You can trade, for example, if you want to free cap space up and dump Taylor Moton, you can do that, but you're going to wait till after June to do that. By then, it's going to be after the draft, so you may help next year's draft picks, or maybe you can trade him for a player or something. That to me, if you're going to trade Taylor Moton, you really should consider a player for player trade. That takes the other team to take the contract as it is, and we likely would have to take the contract of the other player as it is. For example, Cody mentioned. Sorry, Cody. Cody mentioned earlier, the Steelers linebacker. What was his name?
Alex Highsmith.
Yeah, if you present the Steelers with that type of trade, they may jump all over that. After all, in their opinion, we did a player for player trade last year, and it worked well. It worked well for them. It worked so good for us, but nonetheless, they may scoop that right up. Now, at that point, you're going to have to find a left tackle or right tackle. Do you find that in the draft, or you slide a bit of free agent money to Brady Christensen and let him handle that job?
Yeah, that's a great point too. But I think the thing that is starting to give us trepidation about that, though, is listen. You can make the argument that Taylor Moton is playing the best football of his career right now.
Absolutely.
Like, the dude is incredible. The guy is one of the highest rated right tackles in the NFL. He's given up the least amount of, I believe he's in top 5 or even 3 of the least amount of pressures given up at either of the tackle positions this year. Man,
hey Cody, we sell food when it's hot, buddy.
But at the same time,
yeah, but remember, $30 million. If we were to trade him, they would have to take on that $30 million for only 1 year, right?
1 year,
they'd have to
exactly.
Would you rather
hold out? If we hold out and we say no, he's going to stay here, then he simply walks away next year.
Right. Would you rather pay $30 million to Taylor Moton, or would you rather pay $30 million to a receiver or a top end pass rusher?
Yeah, that's
I'd rather re-sign Taylor Moton, bro.
Hey man, listen, we have
re-signing Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton ain't going to re-sign here for cheap. I ain't
re-signing for already a year, Pickle. I know that.
Well, he might do. You got to think. Before, at the beginning of this season, he made, I think it was like 35 or I don't remember how much it was. Well, they needed him to free up cap. They needed him to free up cap. That he was the only one that they could get to free up cap. And his agent and him made it hard to the Panthers to do that. We've got voided years on that contract now to free up a little bit of money to make it through this season.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean,
let me just welcome Dynasty King into the free for all. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
How y'all doing? Carolina family.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I needed something to get my mind off of life, and y'all popped up, and I was like, oh, my Carolina family is on. Let's talk some shit.
Yeah, let's go, brother. Yeah, man, jumping on pretty much. I mean, we're kind of just jumping around here. We've been talking about everything about your confidence in Xavier Leggett going forward. What do you feel of Tee Higgins? Start with the offensive side of the football, man. What would you like to see us do in the offseason? And do you think XL can still be a number 1 wide receiver in Carolina?
I absolutely feel XL can be a number 1 wide receiver any place in the NFL.
All right. Cool.
So let's go ahead and say that. The reason why I say that, because if people remember when he was drafted, they drafted him based on what he can become. Like, they were talking about his speed, his size. You just can't teach those things. We can fix the rest. And if we got faith in Dave Canales, let's have faith in Dave Canales, because he's already running the routes better. So let's just see. A lot of great receivers started off as a rookie year, dropping a lot of passes. Marvin Harrison dropped a lot of passes. Jerry Rice dropped a lot of passes. I'm just saying popular names. There's plenty of the receivers.
Yeah.
I just know that people relate to those. So let's have faith in this area again. Now, I'm not exactly thrilled about the Jonathan Brooks situation. I am one of those guys that say that we was only 3 games in. Why put him on the field? Like, we only had 3 W's. We only got 3 wins.
Yeah.
Him being on the field is not going to help anything for us. The chances of us succeeding this year. Our season's already shot. So why risk the health of someone that had a bad injury last year?
Well, he was listed. He was healthy when he got out on the field, and I'm gonna take that notion a step farther. Why draft him to start with?
Yeah,
we shouldn't draft him to start with, because he and it wasn't like he was going out there and he wasn't healthy. And if he wasn't healthy, all the trainers could do is what he says. Basically, they said, Jonathan, how you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good? You're feeling good. I'm feeling great. If there's no noticeable limp, there's no noticeable injury. If he says he's good, they can't put a brain, whatever sci-fi you want to use to find out the truth of it. If he says he's good, all they can take that he's good.
So listen, let me before we move right on to the Jonathan Brooks thing, because I do want to sort of segue to that for a minute, because it opens up a good conversation about should we have drafted him at all in the first place. But this is Jonathan Brooks talking about his ACL tear for the first time.
I mean, obviously, the first couple of days is a little rough, but then you just have to trust God's plan and know that He's doing this for a reason. And that it's a brighter side on the other end.
You seem to be in decent spirits.
Just because I've been through it before, so I know from experience what to do and what not to do, and I just fully trust in God that He's doing this for a reason.
Do you think it helps? I guess you don't know any different, but do you think it helps maybe if you're going to have to go this second time, it be right on the heels of the first? You know what to do. You kind of already just been through it.
Right, exactly. Like I said, it's just there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know the first time early on in my rehab process that I know now that I feel like will help. Just being around a good team, a good support system around here, with my family being here, just everyone, I think it'll be a great. Obviously.
So look, I feel bad for the dude, man. I really do. I think that he's incredibly talented. I think that he's in a position to really do some special things for Carolina. And obviously, it's hard to not think about Thomas Davis, who tore his same ACL 3 times in a row and still went on to have a great career here. But, by the time we really get a good look at Jonathan Brooks, he's going to be probably more than halfway through his rookie contract. So this begs the question, as much as we might feel bad for him, do any of you think that we were wrong in drafting Jonathan Brooks as high as we did in the scenario?
Hindsight 2020, Cody. Yes, hindsight 2020. Yes, it was a bad decision to draft a guy coming off an ACL tear, and then he ends up tearing it. I mean, hindsight 2020. If you're asking now, yeah, but at the time, you just didn't expect it to happen. So you have to get based off of that. I mean, he was the first running back taken.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have been. I'm sorry. You roll the dice. You roll the dice in free agent. We rolled the dice on my brain's working in slow motion today. The defensive end we got from, or the linebacker we got from Minnesota, that came in.
DJ Wanham.
Yeah, you roll the dice there. Okay, then you turn around and roll the dice on Brooks. Then you made a trade and roll the dice again. That's all these guys are roll the dice players. They just are. Do they got this? Do they got that? Brooks has a lot of talent. Do not misunderstand that. But it's an ACL. I doubt. In my opinion, I know people say, I wonder if Dan got played by another team. I don't know.
The Dallas
I like
Cowboys.
Brooks. Don't
Remember,
misunderstand
everybody
that,
thought that the
but
Dallas
you
Cowboys
can
were going to draft him.
right. Well, no, maybe nonetheless, there were positions that we currently have needs for that were sitting there in that draft pick right there.
Yeah.
And we
Let me
Let's
let
look
me
at
real quick. Let me go to Diesel Skills, and then I'm gonna introduce two more people into the show
Sure.
right quick. Deez, how you feel about Jonathan Brooks? Was it a wasted pick, or did you think that there's still a lot left in that tank for him once we finally do see him?
Man, all great questions, and there's things that's going to be unanswered. We're looking at 2026 before we find out who Jonathan Brooks is. I mean, he was set to be a star for this offense where he was drafted to be the number one halfback, taken off the board, to only get to play a few games and then suffer the same injury to sit down for a whole year. It's just, my heart goes out to the player, to Jonathan. And he's even had discussions with Thomas Davis already about how to handle this injury and how to come back from it. I mean, I just want to believe in the guy. And hope that 2026 can be a great year for Brooks. That's what I want to do. I don't want to wish that the guy is a failure. You know what I mean? As far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to him. So, I mean, was it a mistake? Yeah, possibly. I mean, maybe there's something going on in the training staff we don't know about. Maybe there's something going on with the medical equipment that we don't know about. Maybe we really needed that facility built in Rock Hill. Maybe that would have made all the difference in the world to the Panthers as far as these injuries. I mean, it's not just Brooks, man. I mean, it's Austin Corbett too. You know, same kind of thing. I mean, guy comes back for a few games and boom, he's out with the same injury. So, I mean, you got to ask the questions, what's going on behind the scenes. None of us know. It's just speculation. But part of me wants to think that it's not Jonathan Brooks' fault. I want to point that blame somewhere else because I really believed in the guy. And the lateral shiftiness I saw on the field makes me believe in him. And when he comes back in 2026, maybe he's going to be that guy. Maybe he's going to be that dog. And maybe he just wasn't ready this year, Cody. That's my hope going forward.
Yeah, there's a certain player that I'm going to ask about in the draft later on and talk about if us drafting Brooks would prevent us from drafting another running back. But let me welcome some people in here. First up, we got my man from the 704 Charlotte Bound Show, Twan Don, back on the free for all. What's up, Twan?
Yo, what's good, man?
How you doing, man? How you feeling about Jonathan Brooks? Did we make a mistake drafting him as high as we did? Also, adding for context that we knew he had torn an ACL. So
yeah, I mean,
once we drafted him that he was hurt and that he was coming off of an injury like this. Go ahead, Twan.
Well, at the beginning of the year when we did it, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the ones over here. I was fucking irate. That made no sense. That was the worst draft pick in a long time, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now, I know people like to think the positive thing or whatever, but look, man, you had an ACL situation in college, and now you did one with us, non-contact. I ain't sticking around for a third one. I'm not sticking around for a third one.
All right.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, we can say Thomas Davis or whatever, but nobody wanted that situation. He just overcame it. I'm not sticking around for a third ACL. The second one was non-contact.
Yeah, I just want to say
that's just too much. That's high risk.
He's a running back too. It's a little different from linebacker.
That was absolutely fucking stupid to take him coming off an injury. I mean, who does that? We did it.
Yeah. Let me welcome in real quick. Wes back on the free for all. Wes, what's up, dude?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing, man? How do you feel about Jonathan Brooks, man? Did we make a mistake and overdraft him too high?
I don't think so. No, I think we've all seen those first few games that he was playing. We saw what we drafted, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate.
I mean, it's a little overreactive to be like, we wasted a second round pick when we saw, man, like that 15 or 20 yard catch. We're like, oh, he's got something.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say this. One, I think that they was drafting not for this year, but for the years to come, because I feel like A lot of the players they drafted, they was taking a risk on. Xavier Leggett was raw. Jonathan Brooks was coming off an injury. So I'm going to say that. But the other thing I'm going to point out is this. Are we so convinced that that was a horrible pick because we see what Chuba Hubbard is doing now? I mean, some of us said that we should have got a center. Some of us said we should have focused on defense still in the second round. So there is people that was on that train. But there was some people that was excited about Jonathan Brooks. Is it the fact of the matter Chuba Hubbard erupted this year? Is that the real reason why people feel like Jonathan Brooks is a wasted pick?
Not for
Yeah,
me.
man, I agree.
Not for me. The reason why I say that is because the Panthers have a 2% chance of getting a quality draft pick in the second round. Go through the history of the Carolina Panthers in every single draft since they were created. They suck drafting in the second round. You don't draft a guy who's already hurt in the second, not for Carolina. Maybe it works in Jacksonville. Maybe it works for the Patriots. Maybe it works for the Kansas City Chiefs. It doesn't work in Carolina. In Carolina, with the second pick, you always go to the safest pick. I'm sorry. I remember drafting Devin Funches to lose him. I remember drafting Coney Ely to lose him. I remember drafting James Babray. That was a good pick, but we still lost him. Taylor Moton was good. Curtis Samuel stayed hurt the whole year time he was here. Then he went off somewhere else. Dante Jackson was all right, but he was always hurt. Greg Little was useless. YGM to here was useless. Shout out, he's doing good things for the 49ers. Jeremy Chin, I'm sorry, he's useless. He was useless while he was here. And I could go on and on and on. Terrence Marshall Jr. was a second round pick. How'd that work out for you?
Right.
I could go on and on and on. I go all the way back to Eric Shelton. I could go all the way back to Dwayne Jarrett. You can. To me, second round picks for Carolina have been a curse. To me, you trade out of the second round or you draft a sure, safe pick. Go ahead.
Right. And I just wanted to hop in here. I got to take off, so I'll be listening in the chat. Y'all boys, take it easy.
Take it easy, Kyle. Much love.
Appreciate you, dog.
Hi, Kyle.
Yeah. I'm sort of I don't know, man. Like, I think Chuba Hubbard plays a role into the whole Jonathan Brooks thing. And Deez, I also wanted you to read what you had put in the private chat about the unluckiness of the ACL thing. How much do you think that matters to this?
Yeah, so I got to searching it because we were having this conversation in the spaces too about Jonathan Brooks. So I was like, and especially the thing like Jake mentioned about a halfback having an ACL injury. It sounds really damning. I mean, it really does. And I got to looking in there and reading on it a little bit. And apparently only 5.2% of athletes have this happen to an ACL graft. So it's not something that's super common. It's pretty rare. And that's why I got to saying things like, well, maybe the organization didn't take the right steps. Or maybe like Pickle had pointed out, that Jonathan Brooks was telling the staff that he was a little bit healthier than what he was. Because that's a fact, okay? I can believe that a young running back who was selected first in the draft at his position was dying to get on the field. And I feel like maybe he rushed himself back from this own injury. And we don't have to dig as far to say, well, there's something wrong with the training staff. But it could be. But I would believe more that maybe he just pushed himself too hard, come back from the injury too soon. He had to speak to someone like Thomas Davis to get a little more knowledge about this and how to handle it. And he said that in the interview that you just played. Well, I've done this before. I know how to handle it now, because he realizes he made a mistake and he shouldn't have come back. It was a non-contact injury, was the worst part of it. So it was just kind of an unlucky thing. I hope it was the case, and the guy's just not completely injury prone. It's not like he had a large load in college. I know that was one of the things that we were excited about, that he hadn't had a ton of carries in college and was really beat up. So hopefully, with that, the fact being that it's rare to see this, and this is athletes across all spectrums, not just football players, to tear that ACL twice in that particular way. So hopefully he did gain some knowledge from his mistake that he made. I think maybe he just rushed himself back. And like Josh said in the chat, in retrospect, we should have just let him see it. That was the right decision. But with the Miles Sanders injury in the same game, and even that same game that Brooks got hurt, Blackshear went out too. So there wouldn't. I don't even know who the running back would have been. it would have probably been a tight end or something. So I don't know. Maybe he felt pressure to play in some way just because he had something to prove. But it worked out for the worse for the Panthers for sure.
Yeah. How much do you think of this is on the coaching staff pushing him to come back too soon? Or do you think that this is just his decision? Hey, this is what you were drafted to do. You were ready to play. He went there to play and he just went back too early? Or do you think that the staff and the organization bears any blame for this? And this is to anyone, whoever wants to jump on this.
I don't think so. I don't think that the staff has any blame. Now, I know people in the chat right now probably don't liking this idea, but because it's almost human nature to blame somebody else for something. So it's got to be somebody's fault somewhere. And fans hate to look at players and blame them. So, as you know, as you can see with the Panthers now, they are very slow on this training staff on putting people out there. How long did we pay DJ One? How long did he set his issues come up? We were very patient with it. It wasn't like we desperately needed him out there. He was doing a decent job, and Brooks was coming along. Miles Sanders got hurt, but I believe Miles Sanders was still healthy when Brooks was there. But they didn't necessarily. I mean, they didn't force feed Jonathan Brooks, give him a bunch of extra carries more than they gave Miles Sanders.
Yeah. Torn, go ahead, bro.
So I feel like the thing that we're not talking about, the main thing that we don't talk about with the Jonathan Brooks situation is this. Why did we draft him in the first place? When you draft somebody that is coming off an injury, that's some stupid ass trying to be cute shit. That's just that's just a second. Look, you don't do that in the second round. Maybe, and then you said in terms of Carolina getting played or whatever, stop watching what other teams do and get what you need. If Dallas was going to go get him, then let him get him. And guess what will be going on right now? He would be Dallas's problem. Man, look, I don't like getting attached to players, but so much. The players that I get attached to are guys that went to my alma mater. And anybody can understand that. When you root for a team, those are the guys who get attached to. I don't get attached to some players so badly that I can't see that a bad decision was made or this guy may not. So it confuses me to hear somebody say, it wasn't a bad move or just blah. Yeah, it was bad luck. And Pickle said, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And that's another thing you got to look at. I don't think we're horrible drafting at two, but like history makes it look that way, and we got bad luck. Well, why go get a hurt player in the second round to begin with? And then the thing with the Carolina Panthers, like some other teams, when somebody puts that blue and black jersey on, Pickle, then we start like we don't have nothing but great things to say about them, like they're invincible. It was just done from the start. Why you got Trey Benson right there and all these other running backs you could have went and got? Why would you get the injured one?
Right.
But also, let me put this forward though, right? And listen, there's what we want to do, and then there's what the Panthers will do. So, do you think that having Jonathan Brooks, who, let's be real, even when we do see him, it probably won't be late until next season, considering the last time he tore his ACL was in November, this time he tore it was in December. So if you're looking at a similar recovery cycle, do you still look to potentially upgrade the running back position at all through the draft? Now, I know that some of you here are college football fans, but right now there's a football player by the name of Ashton Jeanty, the running back for Boise, and I feel like, man, this dude in our offense, behind the offensive line that we have paid, how dominant they are, and this dude has broken damn near every running back record in all of college football ever. The dude is just a monster. Do you think that Jonathan Brooks and the signing of Chuba Hubbard prevents us from drafting another running back, specifically if it's a talent like Ashton Jeanty, whoever wants it?
I
Okay.
would say-
Like,
But let me go to Dynasty King first since he hasn't spoken in a minute. Go ahead.
First, I think the main reason why they drafted Jonathan Brooks in the first place is because though it was a very high risk, the juice seemed worth the squeeze. Meaning, one thing that most West Coast offenses have is one of those running backs like Jonathan Brooks that can catch out the backfield. They can move. They become a dual threat. And at that moment, that was not invited in the locker room. We didn't have that anymore. We had Chuba Hubbard, who has that rundown cow now. But before the draft, he wasn't that guy. So the best running back was on that fit the offensive scheme, so they took a chance. I don't like it because I wanted a center, but I think that's definitely understandable. Now, do I think them reaching out for a running back this year? I absolutely do see it happen. I really feel like they probably try to get some kind of veteran presence behind Chuba and just give Jonathan Brooks time, because that would be the smart move with how many holes we have on this team.
It's a smart move after 2 ACL injuries. Really?
I mean, let's be honest, dog. Like, if you draft another running back this year with how many holes we have, what are you doing? You basically saying
okay, so
with Jonathan Brooks.
Well,
let me say this, Pickle. Hey, Pickle, before you go, listen to this, Pickle. If I throw a strike, it's strike one, right?
Yeah.
I throw 2 strikes, it's strike 2. When I throw the third one and you get a strike, what's that?
You're out.
You're out.
Should have been a third one, my friend.
You're out.
Third one.
Well, okay. What round is Gentry going in? You think he's going to be there in the second or third round?
Hell,
So how about this? Well,
Guaranteed first.
he'll be a first rounder. I think it's debatable where he'll go in the first round.
Top 10.
But yeah, I mean, to me, if you would draft Bijan Robinson in the first round, then there's no reason why you wouldn't draft Jeanty. I believe the dude's almost at.
Okay.
I know he's passed 2,000 rushing yards.
Right.
This season, the amount of rushing yards that Derrick Henry and Ingram. What was the guy that used to play for the Saints? The running back, Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he was whatever he's not. Mark Ingram. There we go.
Yeah.
That whatever number Mark Ingram had rushed for in college, that Jeanty has surpassed the both of them, and he might win the Heisman this year.
Okay. Well, the Heisman's irrelevant to me. Heisman's
true,
more
but
about.
I'm just saying,
I understand that.
And he's in the mountain region or whatever, so he's not playing ball in the SEC, so that's even more impressive.
Okay. We got 2 4th-round picks and 3 5th-round picks. If he's there at one of them, I would take him, but he's not going to be there at one of them, and I'm not spending a first-round pick for a backup running back, because behind Chuba Hubbard, that's always going to be. For 1 year, what you're going to do when Chuba comes back, Jonathan Brooks is back in a couple years, and you still got Chuba Hubbard under contract. I mean, what you got 3 run? No, to me, it makes 0 sense drafting a running back in the first or second round this coming draft.
Yeah,
0. Now, there's a running back in Arizona with Arizona State that I really like. He'll probably be there in the He'll probably be there in the 4th or 5th round. Now, I wouldn't mind spending a pick on that, because he'd be a really good short yardage back, and that's exactly what we need. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, let me welcome in some more people, man. We got M Chief in the building. M Chief, what's up, bro?
How y'all doing in here?
Doing good, man. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I got in a little late. I was listening when y'all was talking about Jonathan Brooks and his injury, and you know how we receive it at this point. And I thought of a little analogy that made it make a little more sense to me when thinking about it and taking into all of y'all perspectives. And it was, I saw it as like, you just got you a nice sum of money, and there's a classic car you want. You can get any kind of car you want, but there's this 1972 Boss Mustang that you like, but it got one little problem. It got a little rust on it, or you know what I'm saying, maybe it's not hitting the third gear or something like that. But you go ahead and spend the money to get that instead of the other cars that may be in better shape than this car. And you work on it for a while over the summer, and the fall hit, and you want to take it out for a spin. So the first time you take it out, you just drive it around the block a couple times, and it's accelerating well, and you feel a little better, but you park it back in the garage. Then that next week, you take it a little further. You take it down to the AutoZone and get you some oil filters or something like that, and it's driving great. So you take it back to the house. Then that third week come, and you say, "Man, it's Friday. I'm gonna drive it to work today." And you drive to work, and as soon as your tire touches the interstate, the tie rod snap or something in a wheel sitting sideways. So you take that car back to the garage, right? But are you gonna give up on that car, or are you gonna fix it? Or are you gonna try to fix the problem? You know what I mean? I think that's a situation that we're in right now. And I feel like, in next year's draft, I heard you guys talking about drafting another running back. I'm never opposed to that, because behind Chuba without Jonathan, we got Blackshear, so I think we definitely
I guess
can't
the
draft
reason
him.
why I brought up Jeanty though is because he's being described as a potential generational talent at
Generational
the
running
running
back.
back position.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so definitely, I hear your analogy too, man. You already put
Mhm.
so much money and time and effort into that Mustang. You know it's a Mustang, but you just encounter a setback. You're not going to trash the whole thing. But at the same time, if you're able to get like a vintage, Charger, and you have
Yeah.
the money to do it, and it's right there, you have the ability to do it, and you can upgrade, and that means you can have your Mustang and your Charger.
Right on, right on.
Would that Mustang prevent you from getting that brand new Charger that you have the opportunity to get? You know what I mean? I think that's mainly the
You're
question
right.
here,
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
Chuba, whatever make and model Chuba is, you have to factor him into this into this equation as well too.
I was just about to
Yeah.
get it there. I was about to say, but I have a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But I have
yeah.
a top 5 Dodge Challenger already. And I
Yeah.
just saw Kareem Hunt get signed to the Kansas City Chiefs for a food stamp card. And I see these veteran
Yeah.
running backs getting signed for an EBT card. So
Yeah,
why would I
yeah.
invest my first round, second round, third round, or even
Mm.
fourth round pick when I know I need a defensive back, I need a defensive end, I need a defensive tackle, and I need a linebacker?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not go shopping with the EBT card? Could it work for other teams?
Yeah.
Why am I investing?
If
Yeah,
I
you're right.
may say real quick,
Them
for
add some money.
those some of the folks are chatting about Blackshear next year. Let's be real, folks. There is currently 2 running backs. No, I'm sorry. There's 3 running backs that'll be on this that are under contract past this season. Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, and Miles Sanders. All
Okay.
3 are under contract to be here next year. So if the Panthers just stay where they're at, Miles Sanders will be your number 2 next year. You might not like it. That's the scope. That's why instead of going out in free agency or a high draft pick and selecting a guy, it seems a little bit more logical on a late round pick. We got 2 7th round picks and a late round pick selecting a guy. That's what I'm saying. That's the cheapest route to go. You can
They
even
ain't bringing
try to
Blackshear
find a
back.
guy who's got return ability as well.
Yeah.
Back.
They ain't bringing
Let me
Blackshear back.
and let me welcome in my man Poppin from the Black Cat Panther Podcast Network. Pop, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on with y'all, man? I see Pickle over there with that Clemson orange or that Tennessee Tigers.
Tennessee volunteer.
Tennessee.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
Tennessee Tigers, baby.
Clemson, a few years ago,
Here he
Clemson
goes.
thought they were good enough to take on the Volunteers.
Yeah, well,
and they
What happened, Pickle?
we
wasn't.
both in the
Cody,
playoffs.
y'all about to get y'all ass whooped.
Yeah,
Y'all,
man. Nah, see, y'all just some haters up in
Tennessee
here,
gonna
man.
beat the shit out of y'all.
Y'all just mad that my
You,
team is
you
in
know
the
one thing though,
playoffs.
I knew I was gonna start
there's going
something.
to be a lot of
Yeah,
orange
see
in
what
that
you
stadium.
did, Pop. You knew damn well what you was doing.
Y'all
when you
remember?
came in here,
Y'all
bro.
remember that rooster that took a shit right on their field? They
Yeah,
ain't
you know
shit.
that rooster that's sitting at home crying he's not in the playoffs. Yeah, I know that's for damn sure
They
too.
should have been in the
I know
playoffs
that's
last
also
year.
true.
I bet you
Hey,
them
I know
Buckeyes
that's
in the
also
playoffs.
true for them Seminoles too. I'm just saying, bro. They're not
You
sitting in
know
the
what though?
playoffs
The,
like my
the one
Tigers
thing
are,
the
baby.
one thing I
Got
can say
right.
about Florida,
You better get me
about
now.
North and South Carolina, hell, I can even say that about Tennessee. When you lose, you lose. Your state legislatures don't rush bills through to make sure the opposing team don't put a flag on your field. That's
Oh
a
Lord.
pussy move by
Yeah,
Ohio
yeah,
State
but
and
No, we ready to
everybody
fight.
that goes
That
there.
is
You better
now a
watch your
felon.
tone when you
yeah,
talk
that's a
about
You
felony.
Ohio
cannot do
State.
that. That
Hey,
is a
you better
felony.
You,
say,
See
wait,
what you
no,
did,
the
Pop.
hold on,
glorious
Pickle.
I
state of
blame you,
Ohio,
Pop.
you's a pussy.
I blame you, Pop.
Yo,
I blame
Pickle.
you.
Yep, I
This
did it
is
again.
Ohio State. You put some respect on our name.
All right, look, man. I think this calls for
Yeah,
a rock
hey.
drop. Jonathan Brooks, and I'm gonna introduce somebody into the show. Poppin, did we waste a second round draft pick on Jonathan Brooks, or do you still have hope that this man can ball out in the future for the Panthers?
So before I answer that question, I want to talk about Xavier Legette.
All right,
Xavier
yeah, go ahead.
Legette did not have any catching issues in college, so he's just going through a fluke. I'm not willing to give up on him just because. And I've seen rookies that come in here and didn't get touchdowns. Number two, going over to Jonathan Brooks. What I am mad about is that we're always in competition with another organization and we get screwed. Now, by far, I feel bad for the kid. I do. But just want to just ring y'all bell a little bit about a reminder. Remember the guy we had named, matter of fact, we're playing against the team that wanted him. No, I'm wrong. It was the Saints. We moved up to go get Terrace Marshall, and he was injury prone too.
Oh,
And we went and got a hurt player, right? Spent all that time, right? Terrace Marshall was here for 3.5 years.
Yep.
And then we did the same thing with Jonathan Brooks, right? Jonathan Brooks, the Cowboys wanted. What we do? We jumped up.
Yep.
Jonathan Brooks, a hurt player. When do we learn our lesson? When I've even heard our own GM say you do not draft hurt players, because hurt players stay hurt.
yeah.
You are
Drafted one
contradicting
anyway.
yourself. I've seen him say it in 4K on my freaking laptop. He said it, but he still went in the draft and did the freaking opposite.
He said
I
1080p.
do 1080p, my boy. Now I agree with Mike. Mike is one of my constituents. I agree with Mike. There was no need to put him out there. There was no need. But I understand the process is that you have to, if you're gonna see what he got, there's a process. You can only keep him on the team for so long on IR.
Yep.
And you got the 21-day window, and then you got to bring him on. So you can't play scared, and they can't coach scared either. That's the only pushback I got on Mike. We can't. This is the NFL. So at the end of the day, do I feel like it was a bad draft pick? I really feel like it was a bad business move, period. Because just like Mike said, we didn't know this offensive line was going to be like the way it was. We did need a center. We all had our doubts that what's his name was, well, his MCL and ACL being blown out.
Austin Corbett.
One of Austin Corbett, we had doubts that he was going to make it. And what happened? He's a hurt player. He's not playing, is he? No.
And I
So
just want to point out, Zach Frazier is ranked number 7 among centers, and he was sitting there with a smile on his face.
I understand. I can feel the pain in your voice.
Mm.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but they should learn from their mistakes because everybody's body is different. Everybody's not TD. Everybody's not your boy from the Vikings, who's probably one of the best running backs you're ever gonna see in this lifetime. Peterson.
Adrian
Peterson.
Peterson.
You're not gonna see that. Everybody's body is different, and I'm not convinced just because he was healthy down the field. I seen one good run from Brooks. I'm not like, oh my God, he's exactly what I thought he was gonna be. No, not necessarily. He did okay.
Yeah.
He take one to the house for 45 yards or something. Like he showed some tenacity. Cool.
And I think this is something where Dan Morgan's learning on the
That's
fly.
that's all it takes for some Panthers fans.
So Dan Morgan, he made a gamble. Like they knew that he was injured. They knew that it might be a problem for him, but they chose to bet on upside rather than betting on the potential that he might be injured. Now, listen, I'm going to bring my man Cole into the free for all. And Cole, this is a perfect timing because it's another gamble that you take, right? Your linebacker out of NC State, Peyton Wilson, right now is looking like one of the best linebackers in the NFL right now, bro. And everyone said that he had a bum knee. Everyone said that he was going to be injured and that he was never going to see the field. And look at that dude now, man. So I think really a lot of luck goes into this that is involved in whether or not these gambles, so to say, pay off or not. Cole, you there?
I am, bro. And you got it right on the head. Like, you're not willing to do that for Peyton Wilson. I don't understand why you feel like you can do that for a running back.
CJ.
So it just really confuses me. I don't understand that.
But Cole, hold on, Cole.
Actually, I do understand that because Chuba Hubbard was not shit until this year, and he was our running back one. So I understand why we did it.
What you mean he wasn't? Wait, hold up, bro.
You heard what I said. He was not a quality starting NFL.
Go ahead and tell you.
I got a
go ahead and tell you this.
When did they get your linebacker for the Steelers? When did they draft him? What round?
I don't even remember.
The linebacker, he went in the third or fourth.
Fucking third round. We went and got
we moved back up to go get him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They skipped Peyton twice.
So you're saying we made an even bigger bet on a more injury-prone, devalued position.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
So him on Peyton Wilson, that's fine. You got him in the third round. They didn't jump up to get him. He fell to him. We moved up to go get.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
that's extra mustard. That's spicy mustard on your sandwich.
Yeah.
Mustard.
Hey man, let me read some of the money here, man. With the $5.
Hey Cody, let me get one thing off though. I think it is time to go. I think it is time to go ahead and make a plan for the replacement of Jonathan Brooks. He will never be nothing but a third down back at best here.
Okay, we're gonna delve deeper into that. Let me read some of these C3 love bombs. With the $5 from Nirvash is getting another running back high in the draft after just getting Brooks this year is crazy to me.
No, I'm not doing that.
So many good running backs you can get in later rounds. Then with another $5 C3 bomb, it says, when's the last time a team who drafted a running back in round one won a Super Bowl? The Chiefs had a 7th round running back playing in the Super Bowl win last year. Chuba Hubbard is a round 4 running back. And this is the position that I have taken for a lot of years, man, that you shouldn't be spending a lot of high draft capital on a position that is easily replaceable like running back. That's just the fact of the matter, too. I think where it gets different is if you're talking about a potential generational talent. Whether or not you believe Ashton Jeanty to be a generational talent, that's another conversation that we can have.
I have one more comment, Cody.
Yeah.
And I know you're my lawyer. I know you represent me.
I got you.
We're not on the same path when it comes to what's his name from the Bengals. I don't want him. I'm not willing to pay him 30, 20, 15. No.
Why not?
Let's keep building through the draft, guys. That's our problem.
That idea.
We're
a lot better.
No. Tee Higgins, you're gonna pay him all that money for 8 games, Pickle.
Another injury-prone player.
You're right. You're right.
$30 million.
He gives you the same exact skill set that somebody else does currently on the roster. He just has more experience doing it.
Right. The thing is, I would rather re-sign Thielen and I would extend Thielen for another 2 more years and keep building this wide receiver. I'm not willing to give somebody. He doesn't even show no dog in him. His ankle gets hurt. Oh, I'm out. Wow, I'm a Bengal.
Right.
The man has no dog in him, bro. He has all the traits, but he just doesn't show it, bro.
He's going to be the number one target by multiple
Shut
teams.
your ass up, Jake.
And he ain't. I don't think he's going to come here. That's my opinion.
I bet he's going to end up in Buffalo. I see him going to Buffalo.
Yeah,
I've heard Buffalo floated around. I've heard the Patriots floated around. I've heard a few teams, but I mean, listen, I understand what you're saying, and I've said that as well. I do think that his skill set is very similar to Xavier Leggett, but let's also be real. He has proven ability and has proven to be 1,000-yard plus receiver. Where we're still waiting to see that from Xavier Leggett, though. I'm not saying that it's the worst move that you could make, but I see why you would think it's a little bit redundant. Another name that gets thrown around is Garrett Wilson. Would y'all prefer to trade draft picks that we have right now?
Now there's a number one.
What draft picks are you trading, Cody? Because
that's a good point. How much would we be trading to go and get him, though?
Because I would love to have that bitch down here. I'm not gonna lie to
you. You would have to trade for him.
Yeah.
The reason why I wouldn't take
I'll give Tommy Tremble. I'll throw Tommy Tremble in there, a Blackshear,
Tommy Tremble and Blackshear. Tommy Tremble and Blackshear are unrestricted.
I would trade him a second straight up.
Okay, so the thing with Higgins is this. The thing with Higgins is the same thing with any other type of name player like him. Is this? He's gonna want one salary for a good team, and then it's gonna be a totally different salary for the Panthers. Anybody coming to us is gonna try to overcharge us for some shit that they know they can't, for something they can't get somewhere else. And the thing with your boy is that he's not a number one wide receiver. He's constantly hurt. And I'll be damned if you're gonna let it look. I'm sick and tired of our GMs getting worked by players that are like, yo, the Panthers. I'm gonna go come there, get my game right, whatever, get my money up with y'all, and then go somewhere else or whatever. Look, man, don't y'all get tired of seeing that shit. Look, you're not gonna give me one price and give somebody else another price. You know what I'm saying? And he knows that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why even go get him? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting tired of seeing us get worked like that. Just build through the draft. Build through the fucking draft.
I'm against all trading up. Trading up has never, ever in the history of the Carolina Panthers worked out. Never. I never want to trade up. Regardless. Trading up ain't worked out. You can say it worked out for Bryce, but took us a long way, and there ain't no guarantee it's already there yet.
Pickle.
So,
not wrong, Pickle.
So trading up would be a massive mistake. Massive. Again, would be a massive mistake.
Cole, I think you kind of think how I think.
It's so needed to trade up with 10 picks either, Pickle.
I'm listening to you. What you got, Pop?
I'm not going in free agency. For one, I don't think we have the money to do it. But if there's a way, they say the draft, they say the cap is voodoo. You can mess with things. You can do some things.
If the Saints can do it, we can do anything.
If they go get the defensive end from the Browns, I forgot his name all of a sudden.
Hey, so why do people keep on bringing up Myles Garrett? Do y'all really think that's something?
I'm only going to get somebody who's a game changer. That's the only way
we don't have the money for that shit, though.
I'm never going to take the chance to go get somebody else's trash for nothing. He has to be a game changer, guaranteed. Myles Garrett is a game changer on this team.
That's a great point. So, hey man, let me welcome. Hold on, real quick. Let me welcome somebody into the show. Long-time friend of the show. Haven't heard from him for a while, but we're always stoked to have him. We got Noah back on the free for all. Noah, what's up, brother?
Noah?
What's up, guys?
What's up,
Noah?
What's up?
Noah. That's my dog right there. Noah, how you been, man?
I've been good.
Good thing, man. Good to hear.
Noah hit that puberty, bro. You got a beard now?
Noah's
I got a mustache. Yeah.
Listen to him.
Yeah, man. Noah's
Okay,
He's a
Noah.
oh man, I hear as a Panther fan now. Let's go, bro. So Noah, let me have you jump in on this conversation wherever you would like to, man. Would you like to talk about Jonathan Brooks, or do the Panthers need a number one wide receiver? Or you can give your opinion on both of those, bro.
I'll give my opinion on both of them.
Yeah,
Jonathan Brooks, like I seen him play like when like he like tears Achilles or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't sell out on him just yet. I feel like we should have never put him in this season. I feel like we should have waited last season, to be honest. I mean next season. My bad. You know, it is like it's tragic. You know, we did like use a good pick to get him, whatever. But I mean, we still got Chuba Hubbard or whatever. So I mean, it hurt, but it's not gonna hurt us in the long run. And then when it
What if
comes
Chuba go
down,
down?
yeah, when it comes down to like when it comes down to a wide receiver, I want it like Adam Thielen. He's getting older now. I mean, he's probably like most likely he probably want to get traded to a gooder team, probably try to win a title or whatever. I mean, yeah, we gonna always need a number one wide receiver. I'm not gonna pit Leggett in the wide like number one yet because he's having problems with his hands or whatever. So that's a factor. But I mean, if we wanted to get a number one wide receiver, we're gonna have to pay them if you want a top name wide receiver, especially to come to Carolina because Carolina, let's be honest, a poverty franchise. Like a lot of players don't want to come here because of our records or for our last few seasons. So like we're gonna have to pay them big big name dollars now. So I mean, like I don't know if our cap space is like there for all that, but I mean we're gonna have to make some type of moves because Adam Thielen, he's getting older, so it is what it is now.
So Noah, what's the name that you would consider, man? So we've been talking about Tee Higgins from the Bengals. Some people have even floated out trading for Garrett Wilson up there with the Jets. Is there a name that moves you that you think would be really good on this team? Throwing the ball to him next year?
Tee Higgs, we're not gonna get Tee Higgs. We're not gonna get Tee Higgs.
Dang, we're not gonna get him at all.
No,
we don't have no chance, Noah.
Unless we pay him top dollar, and I know we're not gonna do that. Garrett Wilson. I mean, the Jets not doing so hot this season. Even when they brought in Devontae Adams. I mean, it's a chance, it's a possibility. I didn't see the Dolphins cut Odell, but Odell gonna retire, so I don't know. I'm not sure, but
he's got to be like 30 years old now, huh? 30, 31, 32.
Hey, yo, I want to say
here.
this real quick.
I got a question for
Everybody
Pickle later.
that's mentioning Garrett Wilson as an option, as soon as we're done with this free-for-all, I would like for all of y'all to piss in the cup because there's no way in hell the Jets is letting him go. That's one. Number two, I understand the concept of people wanting to get a receiver because you look at Xavier Leggett in the drafts. But I honestly see the potential of where this team is headed, and I don't see us picking in the top 5 in the future. And you know what's hard as fuck to replace in the NFL? A defensive end. It is hard to get a quality defensive end that's a game changer, like Pops was saying, outside the top 5. Now, we have a 3-4 system. Literally, Abdul Carter played linebacker, switched to defensive end, goes back and forth. He is actually the perfect defensive end for us to draft, to be honest. And the thought process of having someone that has
that dude just hit a high note.
and focus
Mike,
on trying to get a
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. He started off as a linebacker, and then he went defensive end. He switched back and forth.
I'm so nervous about him, Mike. I really am.
I understand
I'm glad you said it, and I didn't have to. Thank you, sir.
Listen, and I went on 704 Charlotte Bound Show today, and I was telling them, bro, thinking of the thought of Mason Graham on this D line next to Derek Brown for the foreseeable future, like y'all can't tell me that doesn't make up for a badass interior defensive line, man.
Yo, bro,
I'm a firm believer, though, that the trenches in the interior of your D line and your O line that's the most important of your line, because that affects your ability for a quarterback to have a pocket to step up into and throw the football. Same thing. If you have a dominant defensive interior, you're destroying the pocket. You don't even need the blitz, man. You're getting home with 4-man rushes.
I have only one thing against Mason Graham. I just think he's a little small.
Yeah, they also said that about Aaron Donald, man. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's Aaron Donald.
I get it.
I'm just saying, man. You don't have to be the biggest and the baddest every time to be dominant out there.
Oh no, I rather like the combination of getting like Abdul Carter and Kenneth Grant in the second round, or Walker from Kentucky. Like I like that combination.
Now
of
that last one you said there, I hear you out.
Now Walker won't be there. Walker won't be there the second round now.
Because you ain't coaching 6'6", what is he, 370 type shit? Like you ain't coaching that, bro.
He is a mammoth of a human being.
Like you ain't coaching that.
But he ain't gonna be there, Cole.
No,
Cole, that's the thing. He gone in the first round.
This is the part where I go against Pickles, because Pickles said let's trade him up at all. But if I can get Abdul Carter and him on the same defensive front, and I gotta trade up to do it, Pickle, you gonna be a mad motherfucker.
Don't
I generally am, anyways.
Hey, before we go forward, what team does Abdul Carter play for?
Penn State.
Penn State.
Okay.
And Penn State, they showed us no love with their players. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Last time we got a Penn State player was what? YGM?
Yeah.
To be clear,
Right,
I don't mind trading up in the second or third round.
Brandon Smith came to Penn State.
I just don't. I just don't really like trading up in the first round. The second or third round, depending on the player, I'm okay with.
If I can trade back in the first round and grab one of those big defensive tackle monsters like my man Walker from Kentucky, and know I already got Abdul Carter, and I see Derek Brown, him, Abdul Carter, DJ Wadham. I'm licking my lips, my niggas.
Mike, this one I'm trying to tell you.
What's our first round draft pick right now?
But you gotta keep your options open.
I think we're picking number 3.
You got Shamar Turner.
Number 3.
You got Shamar Turner from South Carolina. He's a beast.
It's 4.
We're right now.
I agree with
said we're at 3.
What I keep people saying to me is we got 10 draft picks. We got 10 draft picks.
Hey, you talking about trading up?
Now, let's
rushing. You can't. Quality of player matters too.
Let's
have to jump.
You don't know what that is.
Let's remember something. Let's remember something. In the first round, you're drafting pick 4. In the second round, you're drafting pick 50.
50, I know.
You're a long way from the first round in the second round.
You want.
So therefore, if you trade up, it's going to cost you more than a late round pick to trade up. It's going to cost you quite a bit.
And what's the point
of
having
trying to tell
them? Trade up. You're going to jump. You're going to jump almost 10 draft picks.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. There is 3 defensive tackles that I love.
Like
Kenneth Grant, Walker, and a defensive tackle from Tulane. I forget his name, and he'd probably be around in the 3rd round pick and shit. But those are the 3 that I'd be like, yo, they have the potential to come in and help there. Because I'm worried about Derek Brown. I know a lot of y'all probably ain't worried about Derek Brown, but most defensive tackles that are this big, that tear something like that, they're not going to come back 100% when the season starts. It's going to take a while. And so they're going to need some help on that front. But I also know that we need a defensive end. We need a defensive end.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I just disagree of trying to jump back up to the first round to get this guy, because he's going in the first round. If me and Twan can get a chance to sit down with you and watch some tape on some of these other defensive linemen and D tackles, there's some beautiful monsters that you can get outside of the guy from Kentucky.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I want 2 defensive tackles.
I don't want to argue with you wanting that like that.
Well, see, this is what people.
I want 2.
At the right price.
So let me ask you something real quick. What's wrong with Tayshaun Robinson?
Nothing. These are rotational pieces. If his big
Those are
ass goes
rotations.
down, pickle. That's why.
So you want to trade back into the first round?
No,
rotational guy.
no.
That's what you just said.
I said
I
said yes to. I said yes to two
Well,
defensive
no,
tackles
not
in the
you,
draft
but
in
not
general.
you, but
Okay.
the other dude want
I
to
was about
trade
to say.
back into the first round,
Hold on.
draft a rotational piece.
Who's talking
and I'm
about
not
drafting a rotational
and I'm
piece?
not
You
taking
said
a fucking
you
D
mentioned
tackle
Ashawn
or
Robinson.
DN in the top 10.
Well,
Right.
You mentioned
if you want to
Ashawn
be,
Robinson.
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we already know.
Well, if you want to be honest here, what we need the most is to fix our defense, especially our run defense, over anything. Because if y'all saw that game, last Sunday, we got ran on. We got ran all over the
Yeah.
place. So
Because we
Been
don't have a
getting
nose
ran
tackle.
on.
We don't have a nose tackle.
Right through the middle of
Bum
the
ass
field. They
Shy
went
Tuttle. You got bum ass Shy Tuttle. Big
facts.
goofy buffet eating ass. He doesn't do nothing. And then we got rid of
Absolutely.
Damian Williams, who showed up more on tape than Shy Tuttle has any year that he's been here. So I'm with you, Noah. Go ahead. Keep talking. Talk your jump.
yeah, because I mean, we got ran over by all our games. Like we got dogged in the run game, and this is where we got to talk about coaching, especially defensive coaching. You know, I'm cool. Like Evero, I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, you're right.
Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of him. Even last season, because our defense was not that good. You know,
Yeah, I agree with that.
but
I never understand people when they say they're not a fan of Evero.
then
I
again,
can't
It's
We're gonna
called a
do this.
difference of opinion.
Go ahead.
We're gonna
Go
do
ahead
this.
and let
Hold on. We're gonna do
go
this.
ahead and let Noah finish.
Yeah, let Noah finish, and then we're gonna have a conversation about this at some point. Go ahead, Noah.
our defense is nowhere near good. I mean, we got good pieces on our team, but for our teammate, like for our team, like our defense to be very good, because let's be honest here, all the games, like these last 4 games, these are all winnable games. How do you let Patrick Mahomes get how many at the end of the game? How many how much he ran on us for that first down? Like 30 yards. How do
Yeah.
you let
That is
and
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes does that to everybody,
You
bro.
might
but
want to
he's
pick a different quarterback.
is
I
nowhere
think
near good.
everybody's thinking that.
Noah's not wrong though, man. There has been a consistent inability to stop the run ever since Jiro Rivera's been here, and that's more than fair to say at this point. I've been saying,
No. I'm not talking about the run. I'm talking about when you said like Patrick Mahomes getting
yeah,
large running.
Patrick Mahomes not
Patrick
fast.
Mahomes, he does it to everybody, but he does it to everybody. It ain't just Carolina Panthers.
Yeah,
He
it's not
runs
just the
them
Carolina
every
Panthers,
team.
but still at the end of the
It's
day,
a,
that's a
it's,
quarterback. You letting a
but
quarterback get 30 yards on y'all?
He
Like
does it to
that's
everybody.
his
that's
it was so.
that's heroic. That's like horrible. Like if you let a Saquon Barkley, he ran all over us last Sunday, and those
Yeah.
games are all winnable games. That them last 4 games are all winnable. But our defense is not top tier, and even now, J.C. Horn is out.
Saquon Barkley ran over everybody too.
Yes, he did it to everybody.
Generational
But,
talent you talking about? These two guys are generational talent.
but you also understand what Noah is saying too, man. We are not stopping the run, and we have been terrible.
He's naming generational players.
Yeah, but we're also saying if it's a generational player or
Bucky
not,
Irvin,
they run all over us. They
When
run
you gonna
Bucky
get
Irvin ran all over
MVP?
us. Everybody ran all over us.
That's
Let's
my
stop acting like
point.
Noah what he's
All
saying
right,
is not
so
real.
if
But
everybody
I have
running
to
over
say
us,
this,
then why we're
Noah.
not stopping it then?
No. If he said
Okay, but let
Bucky
me say
Irvin,
this.
I get that
Why we
part.
not
But
stopping it?
when
Why
you
we
say
not fixing this
Saquon,
on defense? If everybody's running over us, why we not stopping it?
We have to
So you
upgrade
gonna keep letting?
the front
So you
seven.
telling me you gonna keep letting these people get 20 yards consistently? First down. That's how we losing these games. This is
you're
all
right,
winnable
Noah.
games.
You're absolutely right.
Even when you come on offense, what's his name? Xavier Get, he takes accountability too. That ball that Bryce Young, he did not have to die for that ball. He should have got it right there in his chest, and it was right there. He should have never died for that. And those are all Ricky mistakes, but still, they still go back to coaching. I can't say our red zone offense have got better with Dave Canales. I can't say that, but our defense is atrocious. It's horrible.
Yeah, I agree. And people can argue all their little ways they want. I'll boil the problems on defense down to the guy over the defense. That is Evero Ajero. He had the same problem in Denver he had trouble stopping the run. Back.
One thing before we go forward, let me pay a couple bills right quick. Let me do some business. One, shout out to Nirvash. Shout out to our angel investor Nirvash. Says the way the Rams have been playing, our R2 might end up near the bottom of R2. Round 2. All those round 2 players you guys are looking at may not be there. So again, we're early enough where you don't necessarily know what players are going to fall to us in the second round. Because remember, we're not using our second round pick. That belongs to the Bears still. So, yeah, that's a great point. But listen, man, let me ask y'all this, man. So Dallas is coming to town, and a lot of us feel like we're going to beat the Cowboys, right? They are not stopping the run. This is not a good team. They are looking abysmal without Dak Prescott. But, man, if Chuba Hubbard could get going, to me, that's a recipe for us getting a big-time W. I'm going to say some of these numbers, and y'all tell me higher or lower as presented by Underdog Fantasy. Would y'all have Chuba Hubbard at higher or lower than 81.5 rushing yards against the Cowboys?
Over.
Higher.
Higher. He'll go higher. I'm sorry.
It's not a big time win though. Let me clear that shit up. It won't be a big time win.
Man, listen, that's the Cowboys. Anytime we shut up,
the Cowboys can't stop the run, period. The Cowboys can't stop the run. Micah Parsons doesn't want to stop the run.
It ain't a big time win.
He should be. So,
how about this? Do more, higher or lower than 2.5 receptions? I'd probably say lower.
Higher. I would honestly. Well, ask yourself, who else you going to put out there besides Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah, think about
Chuba Hubbard's going to play every single offensive down in this game. You ain't got nobody else put out there. You going to put Mike Boone out there and see what he can do?
That's a good point.
That worked before.
I'm gonna wait to talk about this game later when we bring it up.
Yeah, and shout out to old school Panther fan with the $10. Says, does anybody remember we're missing some big defensive players, including Derek Brown? That's a great point too, but I think that's what we're talking about.
No, you're only missing 2 starters for real. You're missing Derek Brown and Shaq Thompson.
But listen, man,
stopping the run.
And they both play in the middle where you stop the run.
Hey man, listen, you want
right behind each other.
Let's not make it sound like we're missing 5 or 6 starters on the defense.
But they matter. They absolutely fucking matter.
But if you mention Derek Brown in a 3-4, that's a big thing.
Well, let's be real though. Some of the current starters are listed as starters. We already talked about Shy Tuttle. He's listed as a starter, so he's not missing, but he should be missing.
All right, boys. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me get to this ad read right quick so that way we can get that sponsorship money. You know what I'm saying? That is Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the place to play sports. If you're a fan looking to win money while watching sports, over 5 million players and 2 billion have won. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. Listen, just to give y'all a note on what they do differently than other fantasy sports sites, they'll give you vulture protection. If you select the designated running back to score a touchdown in your pick'em entry and they get vultured, they will rescue your entry. With over 5 million fans that are already playing on Underdog with their champs games, you can win money by making entries with your favorite players. We want you all to go and use our promo code C3P in order to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code C3P and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Must be 18 years of age, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE New York or text HOPE New York to 467-369. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring us throughout the playoffs. Boys, now we can go back to this defensive front seven. What do we need to do in the future to stop opposing offenses from running all over us? Is there a free agent move to be made, or do we need to focus heavy on the front seven in the draft?
I really feel like it'd be fucking coaching. No, it'd be GM malpractice not to go heavy defense in the very start of this draft, because for the past 2 years, we have focused on nothing but offense. Bryce Young, Jonathan Mingo. After that, all the shit that we did for Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Brooks, J.G. Sanders, signed all this the offensive line talent. And at the same time, while we was doing that, Dante Jackson's gone, Zach Thompson's injured, Derek Brown goes down, Brian Burns goes, we replace him with Clowney, way older. Frankie Louisville goes, we get DJ Wadham. DJ Wadham's been a decent player. But we have not focused on this defense in several drafts. It's not like the last 3 years has been this great defensive player we've tried to add to make this defense better. We haven't drafted a middle linebacker in forever since Luke Kuechly. So it's like we have not given Evero the tools to have success with this defense, but we want him to get on the field with duct tape and Band-Aids and straws and make something that's going to shut down a fucking run and shut down offenses. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of points to that, man. It just depends on how much talent you're going to be able to put on this team for Evero next year if we did retain him. Because I'm going to be real, man. I'm tired of, when it comes to Evero, the excuses that I feel like get made for him. Because, yeah, the talent hasn't been the best, but you have to put some blame on the coach. I mean, I don't know about nobody, though, man. We have had the operative of building around Bryce Young, and I feel like that's what we had to do.
I understand that, Cody, but name one good defensive player we drafted in the last 3 years.
Man, we had to get our damn offensive line right first, man. And I'm gonna say it. Cody won't say it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Cody won't say it, but I'm gonna say it. Evero ain't it, man. He ain't it. He wasn't like that when he was at Denver.
That's bullshit.
He wasn't.
When he was at Denver, that was a top 5 defense. The only thing good about Denver was the defense. They was top at top of the Denver. The only thing about that defense is they didn't get a lot of sacks.
No, Evero ain't it. You want to change the defense? Go get a real defensive coordinator.
Bro, he was allowing 17 points a game. What are we talking about?
Evero is not it. Elite. Come on, man. We ain't had nothing elite.
I said in Denver, that defense was elite. They was allowing 17 points a game. They were 17 points a game. They was top 5 in stopping the run. They was top 5 in stopping the pass. You get a good coach and you say, hey, get in here, do a great job, but I'm absolutely not going to give you shit to do the job.
Cody, Evero ain't it. People just keep making up excuses for his ass, man. He ain't it.
Name one defense that's been successful without drafting good defensive talent for the last 3 years.
Let me say this, though, man. There's only one way, and I said this earlier, and I want to float this out again. I don't even know if it's possible, but Brant Tillis, I'm sure we can find some type of voodoo. But if we did...
it was Vic Fangio's defense.
If we did,
nigga, you didn't know you saw that on a super chat.
Hold on, Nigga,
I can read
want to trade for a top end pass rusher. I would, if you're gonna keep Evero, I would go and grab Alexander Highsmith from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trade for a premier pass rusher to come in on the edge, and then draft another defensive lineman in the draft. If you're gonna keep Evero and stay to this 3-4, you need a linebacker that you're gonna be able to depend on those third downs and distances. To me, Highsmith is that guy. I don't know if they would be willing to trade him. I know that they just drafted Nick Herbig, who looks really good too, and they still have TJ Watt. So maybe they would be able to let go of a player like Alexander Highsmith. And he went to UNC Charlotte. He grew up a Panthers fan. Like, to me, if Evero is going to stay here another year, he needs a premier weapon on that defense. He has to.
That's true.
So check this out. We had a couple of guys, let me say this. We had a couple of guys that are in Washington right now because they got tired of fucking with Evero. You know what I'm saying? One said, you can't pay me enough to keep playing for this guy. And that was Louisville. We was going to pay Louisville more money. He said, fuck that. I'm going. Listen, Canales, I don't know if you listen to the C3 show or whatever. You take your ass to Dan Morgan and y'all go to Tampa and say, look, we need and go get your homeboy. And go get Salah, bro. Go get your homeboy. And put him in. You don't ever owe shit. He was just here when you got here. That ain't your guy.
Hey, real quick. Let me go to my man Diesel Skills.
Amen.
Let me go to D's. I know we've had this conversation before about Ejiro Evero and stopping the run and how much blame does or doesn't go on to Evero. But if you were in that front office, how would you advise this defense to go forward if you're trying to stop the run? And do you think Evero either has earned another year as defensive coordinator, or could he still earn that another year?
Hey, Cody, let me just say, before these go, let me just say one quick thing, too. The other reason is this, and Cole, you know what I'm saying? I'm right when I say this. Didn't Evero want out? Didn't he want to leave the Carolina Panthers and take his staff with him?
He did.
They all did.
How we trying to keep him?
It takes a minute.
So let's go.
All right, let me let D's again. Go ahead, D's.
Yeah, a few thoughts about the defense. First of all, the return of Wadham is what's changed this defense and made it what it is. For whatever reason, Wadham was a missing piece to make this offense work. We started getting pressure on the quarterback. We started getting 4 to 5 sacks a game. It's been a completely different defense. I haven't been high on Evero, and let me tell you why. The problem is going into next season, it's the last year of his contract. Are you going to waste a full draft class, especially when we're all here kind of making the argument that we need to go defensive in the draft? At least many Panthers fans are. We're going to draft all these defensive players for a guy that's in the last year of his contract. Like, are we committing to Evero for 3 more years, 5 more years?
Exactly.
Like, how long is it going to take to build this 3-4 defense in Carolina? Because we haven't seen it come to fruition, especially this season. Let me remind you of week 1. We gave up almost 50 points to the Saints. That Evero defense was falling all over itself. Those guys weren't ready to play football whatsoever. Go back and look at the tape. They're literally tripping over each other trying to play ball. Like, Josie Jewell has looked good in the last few weeks, and he's played out of his mind, which
but not all year.
To the point, right? Not all year, but brings you back to the point of what he did in Denver when Josie Jewell was there. You brought a guy like Fuller. You brought a guy like Nick Scott. I feel like both those guys have been completely underwhelming and are big targets for the draft. You have to draft another Evero safety to try to find somebody that can play that position on the defense. How much more time are we going to give him? Do you give him 3 more years? Do you give him 5 more years? You've got to decide which way to go. He was effective in Denver, okay? In his first year as a defensive coordinator, following up Fangio, apparently. He was a top 10 defensive coordinator, 320 yards per game, which ranks 7th in the NFL, and then 3rd best in net yards passing per game, which he has been good at. He's good at stopping the pass. We've seen that. But it's the ability to draft players that are effective playing zone defense. And one of the things that hurts is one of our best defensive players in J.C. Horn. The guy right now only has 1 interception for the season. He's not getting the stats he should be. If he was playing press man coverage, J.C. Horn would have 3 or more interceptions by now, in my opinion, this season. Not only that, the fact that he rushes the nickel so many times. He can't find somebody to play that nickel position. He never gave Jeremy Chin a chance. Jeremy Chin has more tackles than our leading tackler on this team, which is Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has about 84 tackles for the season. You look at Jeremy Chin, he already has 89. Plus, Xavier Woods has 3 interceptions compared to Jeremy Chin's 1 forced fumble and 1 interception. But he never gave Chin that chance here. So I'm not exactly on board with Evero, especially giving him a whole nother draft class. If we wanted to go all young and give a first-time defensive coordinator a chance that Dan Morgan and Dave Canales agree with, I'm fine with that. I feel like the reason why they went with Evero was keep the training wheels on for Dave Canales for this year. I could very well see us moving on going forward. If you guys like him and want to keep him, that's fine, but I want to know the plan going forward.
So this is my problem.
Yeah, let it pop. Let it pop.
Everything you said, I totally 100% agree with you. I back you up.
But
my fear is exactly what you said. Those last 2 sentences that you said at the end of your statement is that Evero is Canales was brought here to work on the offense basically, and keep Evero here with his 100% with his staff to work on the defense. That was to me was a David Tepper move. He made sure that he didn't go nowhere contractually. They blocked some of the moves because Evero was trying to leave. We can't act like he wasn't.
That is true, man. He was.
And then all of a sudden, in the last 4 games, you seen him turn up on his defense. Because at one point, I thought he was sabotaging. My fear is Diesel skills. What is going to? I'm not convinced that. Because David Tepper just came out this past week saying that he's sitting back, right? I'm not convinced that he's fully going to do that when it comes to Evero. And I do not want Evero, if he's going to be gone, I absolutely agree with you, do not want him sitting here making these picks for this upcoming draft.
So I'm telling y'all right now, man, I'm saying it with my whole chest. I do not believe Evero will be back here next year. It doesn't make sense anymore. Look, Canales doesn't owe him anything. It's not his guy. Canales is the head coach. He ain't just offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. And if this man is going to go down, he's going to go down with his picks. We ain't talking about no Bryce Young today. But look, don't be shocked if he go get a damn quarterback too to compete or something, because he still has not fully attached his name to Bryce Young. I think Canales is going to go down with his own ship. He's not going down with somebody else's people.
No.
Before we go down that route,
Go ahead, Jake.
real quick.
But yeah, hold on. Let me get Jake, and then we'll go to Noah.
I just don't think we've hit enough that Evero didn't want to be here, y'all. Like
He didn't want to be here. Yeah.
That's what has changed to the point where he still wants to be here. He don't want to be here.
Yeah, let him go.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's gone, bro.
I was shocked he made it back this year.
I'm with Poppin. I know me and Poppin are fans of getting Robert Saleh in the door. I would love that. I think that would be a great thing for our culture and just for the defense in general.
I just said that. I said go get your own boy.
Yeah, I hear you. I told Noah he could go next. I'm going to go Noah, and then I'm going to introduce somebody. Go ahead, Noah.
Can I just hit on that quarterback part real quick? Well,
yeah.
Here. We spent about how many years trying to get a franchise quarterback? We had
ever since Cam.
I feel like that was Cam. Well, that was Cam back in the days. But let's be honest here. I feel like if we keep going out here getting these rookie quarterback in there, I feel like we should build around Bryce Young. Let's be honest here. Bryce have showed us these past few weeks, like he's had improvement. He understands it now. But I feel like we go back in this draft and get another quarterback, then that's just like an indication of Bryce that we gave up on him. But I feel like we should not go back down that rabbit hole again. I feel like this draft need to be focused on defense and pass rush, all that, because that's our main focus need to be right now. Because we spend all these years trying to get our offense together. Now we need to get our defense together.
Yeah, I agree, man. I've said this before, Noah, that last year we knew what the objective was. Build around Bryce Young. So you went out and got 2 top flight guards to protect him. You went out and got weapons for him, which I think they're still going to try and upgrade and continue to do so. But now the mission is defense. It's time to build this defense up so that way we're not constantly trying to defend against the run. There's a lot of moving pieces to this. Who you pay in the future? Is J.C. Horn a part of that? A lot goes into this, man. But it's a conversation that we need to be having more and more because, look, we're basically out of the playoffs. I don't think we're statistically eliminated right now. I don't even know when we would be statistically eliminated, but as of right now, we're not. And I do want to start to move forward to this Cowboys matchup. But before we do, let me welcome Chuck back to the free-for-all. Chuck, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's everybody doing this Friday?
What's up, Chuck?
Doing good.
Hey, what's up, Tom? I'm good. I hope y'all got your Christmas shopping out the way. Yeah.
Yes, sir. How do you feel about we've been talking about the defense and the inability to stop the run. Did you want to weigh in on that or anything that we've spoken to up until this point, man?
Well, I after seeing today's game, I already, spoken to everybody. If we just, Bryce keeps on looking good, say we're in the top 5 or top 8, if we're still in this drafted position that we are, let's say we're in 4th, hypothetically. If the guy from Michigan, Mason, is there, if Travis Hunter's there and Tet's there, like Dave and Dad have to think hard and long. If Travis is gone, if Ted is gone, sure, take Mason from Michigan, no brainer. Or take the guy Carter from Penn State. But if Ted and Travis is there, Dan and Dave are going to have to think hard about taking another wide receiver. That's all I think.
I'm with Chuck. Just Travis or nothing. If you're
I agree. Well, let me throw monkey wrench in that. So that's a great idea, Chuck, right? But I don't know if y'all saw the show today. Cody came over. My show was about useless wins. But if you go out here and beat the Dallas Cowboys, then you're gonna move further down, and those guys ain't gonna be available.
If you win this game against the Dallas Cowboys, Travis Hunter's gone.
Mm-hmm. All of those guys should be potentially out of your reach.
Yeah,
not potentially out of reach. If we win this game,
I'm not going to advocate the team to lose or start sucking or try to lose on purpose. I've said it on my show a lot that what we don't see, we fans and some of the ex-players and players that comment on this, we see draft picks. That's what we look at. Win, lose, we see draft picks. These players are trying to teach themselves and learn as they go. A win goes a long way for them. And to me, if we win, I'm happy about it. If that means we drop out of the top 10, well, so be it. That's part of the NFL. And I'm not going to cry about a player who's projected to be great, because over the years of watching football, I've seen a lot of players projected to be good that it's not good.
So I believe you to a certain extent.
Nobody is going to care about these wins.
I feel a little bit of cap on that, Pickle, because I bet you have your eye on somebody high in this draft that you like. And if we win and you don't have the chance to get that player that that's going to help your team upgrade immediately, you're going to feel some type of way about it, because this win is just a quick nut. It's like, I feel good for the next 3 days.
Oh, you know what?
Can I say 2 things, though?
Y'all go ahead, and then I'm going to bring up something that Deez wanted me to bring up earlier.
Okay.
Related to this. Go ahead,
2
Chuck.
things can be true at the same time. Remember the 7-8-1 season when they were 7-1. Remember what that happened that season? They kept on winning and building confidence, and the next year they go to the Super Bowl. Also, in a sense where, those useless wins, you're right, that can damage the team in a sense where we kind of need another wide receiver. But
can I stop you right there? Who was your quarterback at that time? You knew you had a franchise.
Please, yeah, exactly.
Franchise quarterback. So that's
all the difference.
That's a big thing compared to now. We don't know. We only got a 4-game sample of him playing great in 20 out of 20-something games. So let's not just run off and be like, oh yeah, we get it. We're not sure. He still has a lot to prove.
Yeah, we getting ahead too quick.
8-1, that you had a franchise quarterback. But go ahead.
Well, that happened to Jake Delhomme too.
Let me add this in here, right? So Dee's brought this to my attention earlier. This is an article on CarolinaPanthers.com by Darren Gant, where they're talking about this exact thing: the draft order versus the amount of wins that you have in the season. I'm going to read the first little bit of this because I think it correlates to what we're talking about now. Do you want the draft picks, or do you want to build some momentum going into next year? This is the comments started coming in.
There's no such thing as momentum going into the next year.
But check this out. The comments started coming in as soon as the Panthers started winning a few games. After beating the Saints and the Giants, the close losses to perennial playoff teams like the Chiefs, the Bucks, and the Eagles had people of two minds. Fans liked being better at football, but some of them are already worrying about next year's draft. But just as looking back at the end of the 2002 season offers some parallels to what the Panthers as a team can do, what followed the next April also offers lessons. The Panthers lost some draft position by winning 4 of their last 5 games in 2002, but they gained something more. And by the way, the 2003 NFL draft turned out, landing a Hall of Honor tackle like Jordan Gross, and they were no worse for it. The game is only fun when you win, former Panthers coach John Fox said, and those wins meant a lot more to that team than the draft order would have. So my question in all of that is, if the Panthers are able to string together some damn good victories, Bryce plays well, the defense shows some sign of life, even though your draft order isn't necessarily the same, couldn't you say that would be a better scenario for the Panthers by, one, drafting well no matter where you are in the draft, and showing the signs of life that could have us being a real contender next year at the end of this year?
To me,
I want to win now. I'll worry about the draft later.
Yeah, I ain't saying that.
That's the way it should be.
Y'all don't get it.
I get that concept.
No, I get it. You don't get it.
I get that concept. I get the the morale of but to me, the ultimate goal is to build the best team you can. I can never tell any team, especially because I play sports, I can never say, "Hey guys, let's go out here and lose." But from a fan perspective, right? Just talking about from a fan perspective, knowing that all the holes that you have, because none of us can sit here and securely say we got a franchise quarterback. None of us, as we sat here and talked about the defense, none of us could say we got a dominant pass rush. None of us can say we have a dominant run stopping defensive line. None of us can say we got a number 1 wide receiver. None of us can say that we got a great backfield. There's so many holes here that you need as many great players to build this team. So when you look at it, yes, from their standpoint, as far as they want to win games, it makes them feel it is great for that moment, and it is. But it's a double-edged sword too, from a fan perspective, because it's like, dang, we needed that guy because of so many holes that we have here. I hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you need the W's.
Hey, Pop, I'm with you on that, Pop. I'm with you 100%, bro.
Then I got after
so some of the guys that's gonna win against these moral victories this year. You said I don't believe in momentum going into another year because it's a whole other year. Some of the guys, if you win, they won't be here next year.
And also another good point that this article makes too, if you look at that year, so the Panthers went 3-8, they rallied and they ended up finishing 7-9. They dropped to 9th in the draft. And look, that year, you didn't really miss on anyone. I mean, Carson Palmer, Charles Rogers, Andre Johnson. I mean, Andre's good. Dwayne Robertson, Terrence Newman, Jonathan Sullivan, Byron Leftwich, and Jordan Gross at number 9. So, Cody, a lot of these things are sort of different.
But Cody, that's all rainbows and candy and sunshine and cherry ice cream and Bluebell Bonnet, sponsored by Pickle. But
damn
when it comes down to it, we don't draft well.
Yeah.
We don't draft
There's
well.
no guarantee.
Yeah, but Dan Morgan, but hold on now. Dan Morgan, in his rookie year as a GM, has shown a lot of reason for us to be able to believe in him going forward, right? Granted, it's only 1 year.
Okay, then give him more than one season, then.
I
Give
don't
him more than
want
one
to
season.
judge. I just don't want to judge this current regime for the sins of past, of other regimes and what they didn't do good in the second round and the later rounds. I just want to make sure that we're fair across the board and that we're giving Dan Morgan an opportunity to really
But it is a
do this
pattern.
thing correctly.
You can point out a pattern.
Let me introduce somebody real quick. We got Anthony back on the free for all. Ant, what's up, bro?
What's up, Cody? What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
Chilling, brother. How you doing?
I got to address Paul Mancini real quick. He said you have to build a winning culture first before you can win meaningful games, regardless of how many top draft picks you have.
I think we're on the way to doing that, though, aren't we?
I understand that, Paul Mancini. You're absolutely right. But none of this is benefiting you unless you go into the playoffs. So that's that's the cold, hard truth. You're sitting on the couch. You're sitting on the couch with the rest of the guys that didn't make it. You're winning at the last minute is not giving you anything.
But I want consistent consent.
I disagree.
Reason why I said that, and I got one last thing.
Hold on, y'all. Let me. Anthony just jumped in. Let me let Anthony get off, and then we'll open it up to everyone to jump in on this. Go ahead, Ant. Jump in on this convo, bro.
All right, so okay. I don't care if he's listening because I've been talking to him all day about this, but G Baby a couple weeks ago was like, no, dude, we're going to end up with the 15th, 20th pick. We're going to win all these games. And now G Baby's like, oh, fuck it. I mean, dude, let's get Travis Hunter. Like, I'm in the middle here, right? These games, listen, I hate finishing. I hate the 5-12 seasons. You don't get the top pick, but you don't go to the playoffs. I'm sick of it. But at this point, like people brought up in this StreamYard, the players don't think like that. Like we know we're sitting on the couch ourselves physically. The players, yes, they're going to be sitting on the couch with us, but they're not going to be sitting on the couch until 4 weeks. So in their minds, they're going to go out there and try to build that culture, build that morale, and all that's great, man. But quite frankly with you, if we finish 3-14 this year, I still saw a completely major difference from this team as opposed to last year's team. Like I've already seen enough to the point where if you add a couple pieces and you start drafting well again, maybe get a number one wide receiver, then I feel like these close games we're losing can turn into victories. On the flip side,
So there?
Yeah, I got a phone call. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you now. Okay. So on the flip side, you finish if we finish 7-10, it's whatever. Like I'll trust that they can be able to draft a productive player. But either way, I feel like there's, I've had this mindset before. I've had this, and I've learned and I've grown from it. Overall, it's out of our hands. But there is a part of me in the back of my head where I am if we're not going to the playoffs, I would rather have Travis Hunter or some guy in the top 3 or 4 pick. That's just my take on it, though.
And that's what I was saying earlier. From a fan perspective, you're going to feel one thing. You can never tell a player to go out there and lose. You know what I'm saying? No matter how you look at it. But it's very tricky, and this is a very tricky subject for all of us because we all going to feel a certain type of way, different perspectives. Some of us going to agree or disagree. And I hear people saying it's going to transition over to the next year. But how many times? Because we were just 2-what last year? How did that transition over to the next year? It didn't
transition.
You have to.
It never transitions.
We also had a brand new coaching staff, though.
I understand. I understand that, Cody. I understand that. But you start how you finish. You have to come. All the guys have to come in locked in because now we're talking about the players, right? Locked in, believing trusting the process, and going forward.
And
Well, let me say this.
Well, I'm not ready.
They take a 6 month break. They go live with their family. They go chill.
So look, let me.
But can I also interject? This I don't want to just win once.
Let me say one thing right quick. Then I'm gonna let Chuck and then Pickle go. To what I've said on every post game show that we've done is, if we're being honest, the best thing is to have what happened to us in the last 3 games. We have a great performance. We put up a spirited performance, enough to say that the Panthers didn't get run over. We didn't get dog walked. We went up in there and we made a good show of ourselves. Bryce continues to look better, yet losing very narrowly at the end, then you're still getting that good draft pick. To me, as much as that sucks, that kind of is the best thing going forward, man. If we're celebrating more of those moral victory Mondays, I think that would be good for us.
Can I add this real quick?
Yeah, and then Chuck and Pickle.
Well, I just wanted to add, because I forgot to bring this up, but I think a lot of us have realized too, if the Panthers the last couple of years, or these last 2 years, it felt like they were playing better football towards the end of the season. Let's just say you finish with a bad record here, you maybe only win one more game, but
we're only going to win one more game.
Oh, all right. I'm not saying I'm not saying this or that.
But the Notre Dames.
But listen. If the team can actually start decent next year, then we be in this position. Let's just say we won 2 or 3 more games, and so we're at 5 to 6 wins right now this year, right? And then it's fuck the draft pick. Let's go win the division. But you're not mathematically at that point. You're not there. So it's like the Steve Wilkes year too. It sucked because we were so ass in the beginning of the year that if he had 1 to 2 more wins to deal with to when he took over the team, we would have won the division. So you gotta be within striking distance if you want to make the playoffs. That's how we've always ended up in this middle spot, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Where we're the 8th pick and we don't get the benefit of both worlds. That's my opinion. But now, we're not in striking distance. If we lose, it's better for us. That's all.
But this is the thing I wanted, and 2 things can be true. We still haven't had consistent winning seasons in franchise history. I want consistency, and I want back-to-back winning seasons.
And that starts at the beginning of the year. It cannot start at the back end of the year talking about winning culture when you're not winning. You have to look at your record. Just because you win the last 5 games of your record, that's not a winning culture.
I agree,
it's negative.
And we come out so slow in September.
I'm gonna say my last thing. Anthony, stop. I just can't understand Carolina Panthers fans mind fucking themselves. Oh, we won the last 4, and it's gonna pour over. You haven't seen that here in Carolina.
I see it both ways.
Listen,
I see it both ways. I see how you could draft anywhere and still pick up a good player. I also see how it works better if you get a premium top 5 pick. I hear
whoever said that.
Let me go to Pickle. I said Pickle can go a while.
That premium top pick doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a gold rush. Doesn't mean you're getting a dog. You might be getting a turd instead of a dog. In 2021, the Jets got the 2nd overall pick. They thought they was getting their franchise guy in Zach Wilson. They didn't. 49ers traded up to the 3rd pick, thought they were going to get their guy. They didn't. The Atlanta Falcons set where they was. They took Kyle Pitts. Atlanta Falcons, Red Swarm,
the Jaguars
shoved that shit down our fucking throat about how great he was going to be. He ain't shit. I'll say it again. He ain't shit. Now, so let's slow down the road that these players are great because they played good in college. There's a lot of good college football players that's going to suck ass in the NFL. That's just fact of it. And another, I just massively disagree. Okay, under normal circumstances, you're right. Winning a few games at the end of the series is meaningless. But this is not your normal situation. These players are learning how to win. Okay? They're learning. Xavier Legette, after he did that drop passes, he went strictly to talking a little bit. He watched some film. He was supposed to go to a concert. He didn't go to his concert. He stayed and watched film. Guess what? After every practice this week, he joins Tommy Tremble and Chuba Hubbard at catching balls from the jug machine. That's what he's been doing. Like, he's learning, he's concentrating, he's put his mind focused on his job to learn. Now, if you're going to tell him that all this shit means nothing, then why the hell show up?
Hold on.
Pickle, you've already told everybody it means nothing.
Pickle. Hold on, about the
Hey,
challenge.
give him credit for what he should do.
Then I'm going to introduce somebody after
trying to learn. You said these players are trying to learn how to win. When is Evero going to learn how to try to win? Because some of these defensive schemes ain't helping you either.
Dude, I have not wanted Evero sit here since we brought that motherfucker in.
Doesn't Evero have a championship ring?
All right. Now, you can ask Cody, you can ask Cole, you can ask G-Baby, who's in there. I've hated that son of a bitch since we hired him. Because I said it the day we brought him in. The Carolina Panthers are not a 3-4 defense team. Yeah. To try to force that system on them is incompetently stupid.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all brought that back up. If I was the owner or the head coach, he wouldn't be here.
Let me introduce somebody into the show, man. Let me introduce somebody into the show. You know we got G Baby in the motherfucking his house. G Baby, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's Gucci with my dogs, man?
It's Gucci, G.
Man, just got off work. You know what I'm saying? Put in those long hours. About to head to fucking Universal Studios in California here in about a week, taking the family out, trying to give them a nice Christmas this year, you dig?
That's what's up. Jump in on this convo, bro.
Man. I love C3, man. I love hearing y'all motherfucking debate up in this bitch, you dig? It's about to get buck wild, man, because I don't know how Ant was talking this shit, man. I was one of the ones that let's win these fucking games. Let's build the culture. And with how we're losing these games, it's just gut-wrenching, heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, man. And it's like if we fuck around and win a couple of games, we could just fuck ourselves out of a top 10 pick, and I don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it, man. It's not. I've seen.
It's also that this team needs a top 10 pick though too. Like that's what I'm trying to get across. Like how they always say like, oh, this is a team that needs to be picking in the top 3. Like even though we've improved. We're definitely not a 3-10 team. We're probably more like a 5-8 team at least this year. But like,
we're not a bad football team at all. We are not a fucking bad football team.
Exactly. We're just losing. We're losing because
we need centerpieces. We need like.
Yeah, go ahead.
We need building
more
blocks.
pieces to build around this team, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Y'all make zero sense to me. Earlier in this very show, y'all talked about how you go get Tee Higgins and Tee Higgins this, and you know what? If you want to get free agents to come here, big free agents or little free agents, you've got to show them that you're getting somewhere. You've got to show them that you're growing, and to just start sucking now just so you get a higher draft pick. They say, no, we done, and then they're done.
But I mean,
half the free agents, half of the team players you got on this very team are going to want out of here. Just like Jeremy Chin wanted out of here, just like Frankie Luba wanted out of here. They're not going to stick around just because Charlotte's got good buffalo wings and as a nice place.
There's a culture thing that goes into this. Go ahead, Noah.
Well,
we want a Chin going.
Let Noah go.
Whoa. We did not want Jeremy Chin gone. Do not fucking say that shit.
Yeah, the fuck we did.
No, the fuck. How you gonna say you want Jeremy Chin gone, but you fucking advocate for fucking Jamie?
Yeah, I dropped a rock on your ass. What up? I said Noah got the microphone. Go ahead, Noah. Get on in this thing, bro.
What I wanted to say is, I mean, this topic is 50-50 because, yes, we want to win, but we still want the high draft pick at the end of the day, too. And let's be honest here. We're not like Tee Higgins. He's probably not. Well, we're growing. Panther Pickle, you got a good point there. Yes, if you want a free agent to come here, we got to see growing and like more things here. But I mean, these last 3 weeks, we all came on here. This is improvement because what I saw earlier in the season, we was getting blown out. But this is
It's
improvement.
major improvement. Major, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, I get it. Like, free agents are going to want to see wins, going to want to see culture, going to want to see a blueprint, but they're also going to want to see that green fucking moolah. And if you just throw some cash at them, they will come here without any restraints, bro. Look at Robert Hunt. How did we land that dude after a 2-15 season? Because we overpaid him by like $7 million annually.
Okay,
Like,
so
that's-
and, okay, so this is the crazy.
Oh yeah, we
shit that I'm
overpaid
hearing.
to get Robert Hunt. We overpaid.
Well, let me let
Yo.
Mike in. Mike hadn't gone a while. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, this is the crazy things that I'm hearing right now. The first thing I heard was the whole situation with Evero and him leaving and stuff. I think y'all forget that Dave Tepper is a billionaire, and billionaires have a hard pattern of being stubborn. And when they see something work, they overinvest, like he did in Bryce. He wants 3-4 defense. Enough said. Now let's go to the subject that's at hand. Because I don't understand the concept of we need a high draft pick, right? But the problem is, as you just said, we had to overpay Robert Hunt to come here. If we're winning, we're
I
not
feel like he's earning every
overpaying
penny.
because people are coming because they believe that they can win here and
Yeah,
get paid.
that's a good
That's a
point.
huge difference on the contracts.
That's a great point.
No
That's
doubt.
a great point,
But,
man.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The best teams in the league don't even need free agency. They just build through the draft. So, like,
Bingo. We ain't there yet.
Wait, Steve. Okay, so
ain't
name
there
the
yet.
last Super Bowl person that went there without a free agent.
Hold on, let me
Hold up.
let
Let
Anthony
me
finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
Anthony, hold on. I gotta cut him off. My
No,
fault.
let me
Anthony,
finish, bro.
No, let him finish. I gotta let him
Yeah. Let him finish. I'll let you respond,
man.
Pop. I'll let you respond to him, Pop. But go ahead, Ant.
All right. No, like, yes, obviously teams need to use free agency to patch some holes here and there. But ultimately, like, man, if we could hit on draft picks every year, like, that's been our biggest issue. Is like the reason we're getting these when you can't hit on draft picks and you're not winning, you're basically getting second tier, scrub free agent guys that plant like 1 to 2 year holes, and then they go back on the market and they either maybe improve in a better situation or they just stay in that same tier. So, like, I've been saying, like, dude, I care more about how our draft picks are doing than free agents every year. Obviously, this season, there's a couple good guys. Like, I'd like to bring in Javon Holland from the Dolphins. The question is, I don't know what his price tag is. But, like, for example, like, if we had an elite safety, we wouldn't have to worry about him. Like, that's the Bengals, like, you know, their team, they ran their course, right? Their defense is ass, but all their good players have been drafted. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're still able to compete with their draft picks. I'm not saying ignore free agency. Go through free agency when you have to, but if you make the draft your number one priority, you won't have to rely on that shit.
Yeah,
I agree.
because here's the thing. Don't every single year we end up all the Ravens end up with this draft pick. How the Steelers end up with all these good players? They draft well. They don't care what position they're in. They will draft a quarterback.
They can't draft a quarterback to save their fucking life.
Yeah,
the two quarterbacks they have on their team right now, they didn't draft neither one of them.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson
half of their offensive line.
Yes,
Half of their offensive line is free agent pickup.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson
when they're not as good at drafting as you think they are. They're good at drafting defensive linebackers and some linemen. That's it.
And wide receivers.
They're drafting wide receivers. Too good at drafting problem wide receivers. The rest of this league don't want. Let me tell you what. Winning proves to these young players they're headed in the right direction. Us fans might see bullshit wins at the end of the season, but to these young players, it tells them, hey, we're moving in the right direction. We're getting better. We're driving. Maybe next year we can put it all together. Because let me tell you what, if you don't win at the end of this year, Leggett's a bust, flat out. Don't give me the bullshit. He's a bust. If you don't win at the end of the year, Bryce Young is not improving.
I don't agree with that.
At the end of the year. If you're not winning, Coker was a waste. Was a waste for now, like I said, winning is winning, and winning. Future players in the draft who ain't showed you they've got the ability, the talent, the knowledge, or the willingness to play in the NFL, I think is a mistake.
Let me go to Mike, then Twan.
I'm after Twan.
When most people are very successful in the draft, there are very key establishments. Green Bay, San Francisco. You know, they've been around for years. They've been doing this a long time. They passed good. Pittsburgh, as he said, great defense. Pretty good on the definitely on the wide receivers. Antonio Brown, George Pickens. Now, here's the thing. We mentioned earlier that free agency is supposed to be something to help you get over the hump. But I want to let people realize something. A lot of the players and teams that's going to the playoffs right now, look at their roster. Philadelphia, they didn't draft A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley. Kansas City, they didn't draft DeAndre Hopkins or Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
San Francisco, they didn't draft Christian McCaffrey. Now what I'm saying is, wait, let me finish. So what I'm saying is, yes, you focus heavy on building the core. We all know the most expensive pieces: defensive end, left tackle, quarterback. You hit these key places that's going to cost you six figures when you have to extend them. And then you focus on, okay, what can I look at in free agent and try to help get over the hump? The problem is, as Pop said earlier, there's way too many holes to even think about free agency right now.
Way too many holes.
You need to be upset with the draft. And that's another thing. We're fucking broke.
Can we all agree that the Panthers have multiple holes? Multiple holes.
Yes, we agree. But let me throw a fact at y'all. The where we at money wise, right? We can't do anything to after free agency and after the draft where you see all that negative fall off.
The cap is messed up. Our cap is messed up.
That is a fact. That's not makeup. You can't Pickle. I know you don't want our right tackle. He ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, he doesn't have a reason. I didn't say I didn't want him. Well, I know you would rather have a different guy, a better guy.
Well, he's not worth the amount of money we're paying him. But go ahead.
I understand that, but sometimes you get finagled in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Pickle. He may not, but here's the thing. He may not be. But
I'm almost finished. But he's not giving you a reason, as this offensive line, to get rid of him. Like Cody said earlier, we're not looking towards him as far as somebody we need to get off the team. He does have his captain as far as money, but is he playing toward that money? Yes. So we're not looking at telling Moten to move it. He's not going anywhere for the next 2 years. Now, what you should do is draft his successor.
No.
But we're so screwed.
His contract's up after
hold on. Then I told Twan that it could go too. So let Pop finish.
We're so screwed. We don't even need to think about free agency.
Yeah,
the guys we're gonna get in free agency are gonna be plug-in type of guys. They're gonna be the guys that you don't want. That everybody else they're the leftovers, and I'm not talking about Thanksgiving leftovers. I'm talking about Buddha noodle leftovers.
All right. Let me get Twan in. Go ahead, Twan.
No, I'm debated out, man. They can go.
No,
I gotta go.
Can I say something real quick?
I'm debated.
Go ahead. Noah's getting ready to leave. Go ahead, Noah.
So I gotta agree with the guy that just said all that stuff too. But let's be honest here, our cap is all jacked up right now, so we have no choice but to go through the draft and draft player key picks.
Thank you, Noah.
Our draft is our not draft, but our caps is like horrendous this year. So y'all talking about Tee Higgins and all this other stuff. We ain't gonna be able to afford those players right
Paul,
now.
that 33 million cap space, that's not true. That's not true. That's wrong.
Listen. I know
That's
everyone
after the
wants.
season starts.
Let me add on here.
That's after the season starts. That's what it. That's why he's putting.
Hey, Cody, man, I'm about to be out, bro.
That's after
I'm
the
out
mock
listening next
draft.
time.
I mean, that's after free agency.
Appreciate you, bro.
And that's after.
All right, bro.
All right, come on, take it easy, brother.
He ain't gonna get your 30.
Y'all be easy, man.
Be easy.
It's not smart.
Pop, can I speak
What's
now?
outside?
I wanted to go on this because, like, listen, someone brought this up a little bit earlier about how, like, oh, well, I don't know who. Oh, yeah, I think it was Pickle. And to Pickle's argument, the logic makes sense, right? You don't want to just, these players, you know, they don't know how to win, so you want to win games for them. But I think a key difference from, you know, the Steve Wilkes, like, winning those games at the end of the year and then next year translating was that we didn't have the same coaching staff. So I feel like if you, like Big John says this a lot on his show, if you keep that continuity that you had going into the following season, you can build off that because you already know what your team has shown you the year before. I just feel like it's comparing apples to oranges in the sake of like, oh yeah, well with like Steve Wilkes, we won all those meaningless games, but it taught the team that, you know, we can win and we're better than what our record showed. But then you gutted the direction. You went with Frank Reich. You did all these different things. Canales and Morgan are going to be back, and there's going to be the same kind of young nucleus they're trying to build here. So I still think, like, the whole argument about the draft pick, like, it can go either way. But I also think it's not really detrimental if we don't end up winning games. Because I've honestly seen enough to where, like, this team is competing with some of the best teams in the league. Like,
Yes.
they're gonna figure out how to win these fucking games. I'm telling you. Like, they're gonna figure out eventually. Like, it's just comes down to some small little things, talent issue, and Xavier Legette dropping like fucking Xavier Legette, whatever, his ass. But like, yeah, bro. Overall, man, like, listen, free agency. Don't worry about free agency, bro. All the players that Dan Morgan drafted this year, you're hoping all those guys are like the young nucleus of the offense going forward, and like Trevor Wallace is going to be the future. And they've shown me some stuff, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, like
Trevor Wallace is out.
Free
by the way,
agency always going to be here. Free agency always going to be here.
Exactly.
But
And like,
I got to get out of here, Cody. I'm gonna call in on Sunday. But everybody have a nice.
Well, yeah, hold on, Noah, before you go, give me your prediction for Panthers and Cowboys. What's the score and who's going to be the player of the game?
I already know we whooping the Cowgirls. Like, come on,
yes, sir.
Cowgirls. But the score, hopefully, well, I'm gonna say like 20. I'm gonna say like 20 to like 16. I feel like it's gonna be like a close game, but
okay, 2016.
Yeah, but
who's your player of the game?
Adam Thielen. I feel like
Adam Thielen
or Chuba Hubbard, they gonna have to clutch it up.
sure in hell ain't gonna be XL. That's for damn sure.
Right. Yo, Noah, it's always great to see you on the show, man. Anytime you want to
I'm gonna call in on Sunday, but have a nice weekend. I gotta get out of here, but
have a great weekend.
Take it easy, Noah.
Keep pounding, brother. Have a great
I got a question for the panel.
Keep pounding, Noah. Yeah, go ahead, Pop.
I definitely want to hear Pickle's perspective from this, and Mike, because man, I need to hear it. I need to hear it. It's not too crazy. What would make you consider Adam Thielen a Carolina Panther?
Like beyond this season?
Like for another
beyond
contract?
the season. Yeah. For you to say, Adam Thielen's because Peppers left, D'Angelo, he left, but I still consider them as Carolina Panthers. How long do you give Adam Thielen to say, okay, he's a Carolina Panther? I know he played a lot of years in Minnesota. I get that part. But when will you say I accept him as a Carolina Panther? I'm curious.
Never. He never will be. And the reason is because he was a walk-on to Minnesota State, I think, and he spent too many years there, man. Like, I don't think 3 years is enough.
He's from Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't think 3 years is enough to justify him being.
No, not at all. He's gonna be a Minnesota guy.
let me ask you this though. Who's Ricky Perot? Ricky Perot a Rams or is he a Panther?
There you go. There you go. I knew I would get Pickle to come in. Come on, Pickle. Talk your talk.
Kind of a biased perspective. It's a biased perspective. Like I don't know. I just don't think Adam Thielen.
It is, and it depends on what you want.
That's
for
what I
example, what's the dude Cotchery? You can talk to some fans right now who are a lot younger than me, and they'll tell you that Cotchery will always be considered a Panther. I don't. Because I remember Cotchery playing for a bunch of other teams.
Ain't no way, Pickle. Ain't no way. He played with Carolina for what, 2 years, Pickle?
The fact that Cotchery didn't catch the ball in the Super
I think
Bowl,
Cotchery
No, he caught that shit, Cody.
He did catch it, Cody.
He caught that shit.
I
but
think
that's not how history is going to
is
remember
Kurt
it.
Coleman not
History
considered
is
a
not going to
Panther?
remember it as a catch, though.
according to that analogy, Kurt Coleman would not be considered a Panther because he played
was just
elsewhere
answering the
before he
question.
got here.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mike, for answering the
Is
question.
not considered, so Charles Peanut is not a Panther either.
Exactly. He's the Chicago Bears.
Exactly.
So hold on, Mike. I'm about to get G baby.
All right.
Did you go and see the interview of the Legends Round Table? Did you see the host?
Yes.
I
did.
Who was the host?
I
Who was
did.
the host, G baby?
What wasn't that the one with the 4 legends, right? The 4 legends? Is that the
It was more than 4 legends.
Was Trey Boston one of the legends, so-called legends?
Trey Boston was on the 2015 Legends. It was 2 different Legends Round Table.
Yeah.
You guys consider Trey Boston a legend?
No.
We're talking about Super Bowl. When they're talking about their best defenses, right? They had 2 different defensive round table legends.
Right.
From 2 different eras.
Right.
There was a host. One of the hosts, do you consider, if you know who I'm talking about, then you might have to go back and watch it. Because he originally is not from the Carolina Panthers. And actually, I'll give you a clue. He had beef with Steve Smith. I know Pickle know who I'm talking about.
Damn.
Well,
in this scenario, he wouldn't be a Carolina Panther legend.
I'm about to say, Pickle, don't switch up.
No. Listen to what I'm saying now. In the scenario that some people are talking about, he wouldn't be a legend because he played with a bunch of teams before he got us. But when he was with us, we went to the Super Bowl. That's not my personal opinion. I'll always claim him as a Panther legend. That's
Are we talking about Greg Olsen?
Okay. Listen.
No.
I claim
he's
other
a
things.
defensive player. He was the host.
He was the host?
You see him you seen him for the last several years in Carolina media. He do an interview here, he does an interview there. It seems like he's been in the South for the longest.
And he's on the defensive side of the
They
ball.
call him the old man. There you
Roman
go.
Harper.
Prime time got it. There you
Oh
go.
hell no, he is not. He's not a no. Hell no, he is not a legend.
I wouldn't put him as
The
a
Carolina
Panther.
Panthers.
I
The Carolina
got-
Panthers.
He
The Carolina Panthers.
was a good player for a while. I don't know if you can say. I would say that Peanut Tillman's a legend more than Roman Harper's a legend. But I mean,
Neither of
I
them.
get it though.
I
Hey,
get
real
that,
quick.
but-
Hey, let me welcome 336 into the free
Fucking hate
throw.
Roman Harper with a fucking passion. Fuck Roman
336,
Harper forever.
bro.
God damn.
What's going on, guys? What qualifies you as being a Panther?
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you.
That's a good point, man. I think it's when you made your biggest impact here in the Carolinas. How about that?
It wouldn't be the longevity of having more years in Carolina than somewhere else.
But not necessarily though.
No, it really matters what
I
you
was
do as your
asking.
tenure
I'm
as you're here.
We've had other players go somewhere else, but they play their best here too. You just brought up Coleman, Mike. Don't do that.
No, I agree with you. I was asking
I
for
got a
clarity.
question. I got a question surrounding this.
Oh, okay.
We had a player that was here for 5 years. We went to the Super Bowl when he was the starter on the defensive line. Before that, He spent 3 years in San Francisco, 1 year with the Bengals, and 3 years with the Patriots. Or with the Steelers, rather, not the Patriots, with Steelers. Now, is because he spent his last 6 years with or 5 years with us and we went to the Super Bowl, is he a Panther legend?
That's what I'm saying.
It matters what you do individually with your time here.
Who talking about?
I really don't care.
Who is a fucking Panther legend? No, he's not a Panther legend. He played for 2 years with us.
I didn't say a Panther legend. I said, do you count it as a Carolina Panther?
What?
This is the thing, guys. This is the thing. Adam Thielen's a leader in the locker room. Bryce Young owes all of his success to Adam Thielen, in my opinion. The guy's a leader on the field and off the field. Young players look up to him. He loves being in Carolina.
Is Adam Thielen a Panther legend? No.
Who said
That's
legend?
not the question. That's not the question, Al. It's not a legend.
He's a dog.
Yeah, you edit that.
Is
You
he
edit
a
that.
He's the best wide receiver on your team
He's a very good wide
for 2
receiver,
years
but
straight
he's
now.
not a fucking Panther
I
legend.
believe what
Yeah.
Bob is trying to say, though, that
Thank you.
when you look at how important Thielen has been here for us, you know, could you make the case that he's been the literal reason why Bryce has been starting to continue to grow and get better? I mean, a lot of that
He was the
came from
best
Thielen
player.
last
He
year.
was the reason for that last year.
Yeah.
He was basically the only offense we had on the team.
Bring your
The
ass
guy
back.
came to Carolina in his late 30s, early 30s, and is giving his all to the team, bro. I can respect that.
Yeah, I can too, but I can't remember.
The majority of the
I
time,
can't
you get a
forget-
guy that comes
I
in
can't
like
forget
Clowney
at
and does
the
nothing
end of
for your
last
franchise.
year. I can't forget though. At the end of this past year,
He was
dropped
gonna
hints
turn
to-
on us.
He
He turned on us.
dropped hints to Dan Morgan and the coaches, especially to the media, that he would like to play somewhere else this year.
Yeah, man. He wasn't
Dan
fucking with
wouldn't let him
Carolina
do
like
it.
Now,
that.
what player?
And now he's here.
Now that you mentioned that,
you know,
he
I'm
does
glad you said
honor.
that.
tell me what player doesn't want to be off a 2-15 team, respectfully,
I'm
especially a
glad you
veteran.
said that, Pickle, because y'all said that shit about Evero wanting to get out of here, and I just want to really put this like under a microscope. Nigga, everybody was trying to get out of Carolina because of Dave Tepper.
Coaches wanted out,
Coaches
front
didn't
office
want to
wanted
come
out,
here.
a lot of people.
Players didn't want to come here.
Dan
Coaches
Morgan
wanted
didn't
to
want.
leave.
Dan Morgan didn't want to get out of here.
Dan Morgan didn't want to
Dan
get out of
Morgan
here
had a
because
job
nobody else
offered to
was
him
going to
on a
hire him
silver
as a
platter. Let's be
GM.
real.
And he
No,
played in
he
Carolina. He has ties to here.
He
He
didn't.
loves Carolina. But we got to remember something. Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, they didn't have any other job offers, guys.
Miami, dude. My
They
Dan
was the
Morgan's
only
fucking
people
from
we
Florida,
could
bro.
hire.
He's from South Florida.
One at a time.
Stop
Pickle,
that,
Pickle,
bro.
who is about that?
Dave
Pickle,
Canales
who is
would
going
have
to hire
stayed in
Dan Morgan as
Tampa.
a general manager?
And been an offensive coordinator and not a head coach.
Pull the feather out of your ass.
One at a time. One at
Nobody
a time.
offered Dave Canales the job.
One at a time, or else nobody can hear anybody. Let's be a little orderly. I know we're letting the free for all. One at a
My
time. Go ahead,
bad,
Mike.
Pickle. My bad, Cody. But
No, you're
Pickle,
all
how
good.
many
Go ahead, Mike.
job offers did Dave Canales and Dan Morgan have besides the Carolina Panthers?
Okay, Dan Morgan, I'll give you, but David Canales wasn't looking for a head coach job till we offered it.
He was looking for a head coaching job all his career. Maybe you need to go find a Dave Canales story. He talks about it after he dealt with his addiction and how he overcame that.
But the point of the matter is, he
Wait,
didn't have
it's one
to
at a
come here.
time. It's one at a
He didn't
time.
have to come
It's
here.
one at a,
You're making
it's
it
one at a
sound like
time.
he had to come here.
It's
and
one
he
at a
didn't have
time.
to
All
come
right,
here.
let Mike finish, and then you can respond, Pickle.
So what I'm
Finish.
saying is he didn't, of course, no offensive coordinator have to go anywhere. No defensive coordinator have to go anywhere. But every offensive or defensive coordinator wants to be a head coach. So no matter what, like Evero, the reason why he looked other places because he had head coaching opportunities to go apply at Atlanta, go here, go there. No, every coordinator wants to be a head coach. Well, nobody looking at Dave Canales besides the Carolina Panthers.
Did ever really have those chances?
Now it's my turn.
All right, go ahead, Pickle.
Cody said it was me after him. Now,
Go ahead, Pickle.
thank you very much. Jim Johnson didn't want to be a head coach.
Jimmy Johnson?
The fact is, I'll say that no.
No,
Jim
he's
Johnson
talking about the
used to be a defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
turned down
Yeah,
many
he's talking about the
opportunities
Eagles
to be
coordinator,
a
yes.
head coach because he didn't want to be a head coach.
I'm
But he's
familiar.
been dead for several years. He was one of the top
He
shots.
probably doesn't want to fail.
The Johnson up there in the Lions. I don't think he wants to be a head coach.
He wants
I'll
the
just say that.
Chicago job, Pickle.
And he wants
He
it.
doesn't want
You
to
know
go
what?
be a head
This
coach.
bullshit for 3 fucking years. He wants this job. He wants that job, and he ain't took a job yet.
And the reason why he
Maybe
didn't
he
get the
wants to
job
win a
because
Super
the
Bowl
person
in
that offered
Detroit.
him the most money
You know what? This
was the
time last
Carolina.
year
He did say he has unfinished business, Pickle. I
This
ain't gonna
time
lie, he did
last
say that.
year, everybody said he wanted the Washington job. He desperately wanted it. Everybody said he wanted the Washington job. He pulled his hat and said, "No, I don't."
He said he wanted to finish
I
what he
think he wants to
started.
finish what he
And it
started
looks
in
like they
Detroit.
about to finish what they started.
Y'all call it
That's a
whatever you
good
want.
point, though.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, but
call it
listen,
whatever
I
he
you
think
did
that's
want.
what
have
it is.
Ben Johnson the past 2 years in a row has been the number one name in the coaching cycle, and then chose to go back. So a
Right.
lot of times, if you feel like you're building something and you have an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl,
Easily not.
yeah, it's
But
hard to
it's
just
not.
restart that.
Easily not,
To
though.
restart
Y'all
that
Let's be
turn it
honest,
sometime.
however
though.
you want to.
Let's be
Till I
honest.
see
Listen,
another
we're
one.
going to pay him $20 million a year,
You
Pickle.
go get that money.
Like, you got to
Go
remember
get your
that.
fucking money.
We were
But
going to pay him
let
$20
me
million
time
a
out,
year.
time out. Let me go out. Let me go to Al the Sailor and then 336. Go ahead, Al.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, you're talking about he's building something, but what is he building? Oh, I mean, they're not going to win a fucking Super Bowl this year. We know that.
No,
It's
you
going to be
don't know
something
that. They
this
actually
year.
look
I
like
don't
they're
know
gonna win the
that.
Super Bowl.
Who,
Open your
Detroit?
eyes.
Al,
Tell me
Al, what
Mahomes.
team?
Tell me
Wait, hold on,
Al, who
time
you
out. Let
talking
me
And
about?
ask
then,
Al.
and then, and
Hold
then,
on,
and
let me
then you're fucking just what? You're just fucking
let me
sitting
ask Al.
tires right now,
Al,
bro.
Al,
That's what
hold on,
he's doing, bro.
Al.
He's
Let
just
me
sitting
ask
his
you.
fucking tires,
Hold
bro.
on, time
Al,
out,
You
time
know
out,
that.
time out.
You know that.
Hang
Al,
on a
hold
minute,
on
bro.
a second. Let me ask you a question. Are you saying you don't think the Detroit Lions could make the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah. They can make it, but can they win it?
Yes.
I mean, they're the
No
number
one
one
knows,
team.
but they have a
They're
chance.
they're the number one team in the NFC right now.
They can make it, but can they win it?
Bro,
Yeah,
y'all know,
They have a
y'all know
chance
this
to win it
Sunday.
if you make it.
Y'all know this
What
Sunday.
team in
This
the
Sunday.
AFC can
They
stop
see
him?
Pat Mahomes when they see
Well,
Pat Mahomes against him in fucking Super Bowl,
Pat
fucking
Mahomes
goddamn
is
50
overrated.
this season or this
Get him, Pickle.
Sunday, the Buffalo Bills played the Detroit Lions. So
Jared Goff.
that's
Look
gonna
at
be
And
a
that's
Yeah,
gonna
game.
show you how far
Jared
they're
Goff
fucking
is
gonna go.
undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. Jared
Yeah,
Goff is
that is true.
undefeated against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
So
that
if
is
there's a
true.
Oh,
quarterback that
he
can
is?
kill Patrick, it's Jared Goff.
Yeah, Al.
Yeah, okay.
See,
Well, we'll
Al, what
see.
you gotta
Well,
do
we'll
is take
see.
some of that hate
We'll
out
see
your
when it
blood
comes to game
The
time.
and
Kansas
When
actually
it comes
City
to
look at
game
what's
time,
going
when it
on.
comes to
the
game
And I
time,
Kansas
know, I
City
know.
we'll
Chiefs
see.
are overrated.
Okay. When Pat Mahomes when has to make it count, he makes it fucking count.
All
He
right, hold
makes
on.
it
Let me.
fucking count. You
All
know
right,
that, right?
Al,
time
Al.
out, time out. Let
Kansas
me
City Chiefs.
let
The
me
Kansas
hold
City.
on. I told 336 that he can go. I'm trying to make sure
Yeah, go
everybody
336.
gets an opportunity. Go ahead, 336.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, no, you guys are good, man. I was just going to say I think he's trying to finish what he started up there, and they're really close, and they have a legitimate chance to do what they set out to do. You got to remember, we were going to offer this guy $20 million a year, and he turned that down. So that's not just a coaching job. That's life-changing money.
Right.
Respectfully.
Right.
So there's a reason why
If
he's turning that down.
right
That was 14
when
million.
he walks away from the Super Bowl this year with the ring on his finger, then he'll get a lot more money than $20 million a year, in my opinion.
I doubt it.
And this is my thing too.
It was
Yeah, I doubt it.
14 million
And
a
I would
year.
I
know-
I
Go
would
ahead,
roll
Pop.
over the top.
Let me let Pop go. Go ahead, Pop.
And I'm not trying to gang up on you, Al. No, I'm not. But Al, I know you've been at sea for a hell of a long time because if you have not seen Detroit coming, you need to hurry up and get back to Earth or United States soil and kiss some land. Because Detroit Lions have been coming. They have been doing so well that their colors, their alternate colors,
They're a
looks
good
like
team. No, I mean, I know they're a good team, bro.
So this is the thing. I don't know if you're watching their games. They dominate.
I'm watching their games, dude.
They
I
dominate.
see they're a good team.
They draft. Hold on, Al. now. They dominate. They draft well. They believe in the process. They did it the right way. That is one of the best process of like from a long-term standpoint, from a sit back and watch standpoint, eat your popcorn. Detroit has finally got it together. Now, I don't want to sit here. I don't want to be sitting here like waiting 45 years. Like I was getting mad earlier. I don't want to wait 45 years later, to win meaningless games and don't draft well, because we don't draft well. And then if we keep winning and then we don't get the guys that we actually need to win to help our team immediately, I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I think the coaches start from game one all the way to the end. If you're not starting off winning, that doesn't, to me, that you're not building the right culture. And I also want them to draft we guys instead of I guys.
I agree.
I don't like them sitting here drafting people just because they like their personality.
I did want
May I ask y'all a question?
Yeah, but yeah, I'll let you ask him. But let me say this first, though. I do agree with what D said in the chat. Going back to that article, though, that I feel like a lot of times, man, that even though we talk about the draft pick, I think that for the overall culture, which is going to last longer for a winning team, that to me, the victories at this point, I do think they're more important. I'm not going to trip over the draft pick. And hey, if we lose, it's a better draft pick for us anyway. But I'm not going to be mad at any victory coming here on out, because to me, that is still a testament to what we're building. I think Dan Morgan has a tremendous opportunity with all these different draft picks to give a ton of high-end talent on the defensive side of the football. So just to make sure that my side is known, if I'm choosing, if I'm choosing between the draft picks and if I'm choosing between the victories, bro, I'm taking them W's every single time, bro.
You damn
I
right.
really
Every
am.
time.
No,
Hey, you know
you're
what?
gonna take Pat Mahomes
I'm
every
not.
time. Every time. What you just said.
I'm not, Cody.
Every time I'm taking Pat Mahomes.
This is
Hey
wrong with
Cody,
y'all.
can I
Taking Pat
explain why
Mahomes
the
every
Lions not
time.
winning the Super Bowl?
Let me welcome Jay.
No.
Let me hold on.
No.
Let me welcome two more
I'm taking
people in
Pat
here.
Mahomes every time.
Hold
And I
on, man.
know
Let me
that.
welcome two people in here, bro. Let me welcome JJ into the building. JJ, what's up? Welcome back to the Free For All, brother.
What's up, Cody Lack? Real
Chilling,
quick shout
man.
out to Twan Don. He was up here earlier. He let me and Kyle up on the show earlier, so big shout out to Twan Don. He always
Yes,
you know he always fuck with C3, so
Hell
big
yeah.
shout out to Twan Don.
Absolutely, man. What did you want to add to the convo, JJ?
Hold on, introduce the other guy and then I'll go.
Yeah, man, we got Alex, everyone for Panthers, holding it down on the left coast. Alex, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Yeah, y'all jump in on this convo, man. JJ and Kyle, do y'all think it's better to get the better draft pick from here on out, or are you trying to win every single game going forward?
I'm trying to win any game we can win, just because, like, I understand people want a certain player, and we look and we do our draft analysis, and we get attached to a certain player. I myself, I'm attached to Tedero McMillan. That's my guy. That's who I want. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be all hell bent if we win a few games because we won't get that one guy. There's still plenty of guys to be had that will help this franchise succeed in the future. This team has so many holes. We could
Exactly.
use any of those potential franchise cornerstone players that we could get in the top 10. So, and I just don't think we're good enough to be like winning 3 of the last 4, even though they're all winnable games. Like, I think at most we'll win 2. And if we do win 2, whether we win 0-1 or 2, whatever it is, we just got to hit the draft pick we do end up with regardless. So,
Yeah.
I don't think we should really be all hell bent on it.
This is a very
That's the
important
job of a
draft for the
general
Panthers
manager.
going forward. Absolutely. Let me go to my man Alex. Jump in on this combo, Alex.
Yeah. No,
how are
I
you
mean,
feeling about this?
Yeah, no, I mean, as a fan, you just want to win football games. You want to see your team win games. I mean, I know the season's pretty much done for us, but at the same time, it just builds momentum for next year. So I mean, even like a team like Detroit, they started off slow, and I think they went like 9-8. They finished the season off strong, and then now they're rolling this year. So I mean, you want your team, you want to be able to see like the pieces kind of come together. We are seeing like moral victories, but we haven't seen a victory. So like we want to, galvanize the group, the team, the squad. We got to win. We got to win games, and one guy's not going to change our whole team. Like JJ said, we have a lot of holes on our team that we have to figure out. So obviously there's a lot of good talent out there in college. I don't watch a lot of it. I like the guy out of Mizzou, the wide receiver from there. And
Luther Burden.
Yeah, Luther Burden. That's and I talked to JJ and Pickle about it. That's the guy I like. But obviously there's so much talent out there, and we need a lot. And
This is Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now. All right. What's up, Alex? I want to say one more thing real quick.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people talk about how momentum can carry into the other season. And that's happened a few times. I feel like it doesn't happen the majority of the time. But I feel like it will help us because it's new here. Everything's new. New GM, brand new young players. Bryce Young starting to pick up some stuff. And while I don't think it will be the exact same carried over because a lot of it is playing with instincts in the moment on your competition, but I think it'll help Dave Canales the most. Imagine with that play calling, getting Xavier Legette a one-on-one on the outside. He wins his route. He called the game-winning play, fucking game-winning drive for the most part against the Eagles. And for the most part has been calling some good games, and he has no wins to show for on his resume. So I feel like when it comes to Dave Canales, him learning how to win games with his play calling, because he has a lackluster roster. Yeah, him being able to manufacture offense and to win and overcome the deficiencies of this roster, I think that's who has the most to gain with winning these games down the stretch.
Yeah.
So you want 2 6'4" fucking slow receivers that can't get open. You want that? That's what you want?
SL can get open. What are you watching?
Hold on. Are you saying McMillan is slow?
And you said SL can't get open and slow? Are you
XL,
watching football?
XL is getting open.
XL can get open. XL can get open. XL can get open. I'm talking about this guy from fucking goddamn Ohio State.
No, he's from Arizona. He is not from Ohio State. Do not talk about my alumni unless you know exactly what players on it. Ohio State have Ibuka. That nigga's in Arizona State doing whatever they fucking do in the desert. We don't fuck with them.
Emeka Ibuka?
Yeah, that's us. That's Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay.
Who do you
what I'm gonna say is this. Well, this is what I'm gonna say. I understand the victories and the feeling good because we finally accomplished something. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. These past 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, these more victory Mondays, while y'all mad, not all of y'all, like some of y'all mad as shit when that shit happens. Nigga, I'm happy. I'm literally having my cake and eating too. I'm literally seeing my team getting better, and I get a better draft pick too. And you mean to show me? And look, guys, when y'all talk about the teams carrying over to the next year getting better, that normally has 3 things that come with it: the same GM, the same coach, and all the players on the field are practically young. That's how it happens. And that's exactly what's going on in Carolina. Be happy. We about to head to the playoffs. Y'all grab some fucking popcorn and watch. What y'all mad about?
Yeah, you guys get excited about draft picks though, but what happens when your first round pick flops or flames out?
Oh,
you got all hyped up about the first round pick.
Hold on. We're talking about that now.
No, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Because listen,
hold on. Let me ask you this: how many first round picks have flopped for us in recent history? I feel like
but the point is the majority of players in the NFL flop more so than the ones that actually make it.
True.
Right.
So the point is, it's the job of your general manager, regardless. It's the job of your general manager, regardless of what pick you have, to find the right players for your team. I don't care
But
if
I
you're sitting at
understand.
1st or 10th or 15th. It doesn't matter. Wherever you're sitting at the end of the year, it's your general manager's job to find the best players to fit the squad.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you.
If he can't find somebody,
All right, guys. While we mentioning that, and I'm glad you guys pointed it out because that's real shit. That is truth. Normally, there is big time chances that your high picks can flop, but then they also come out to be monsters like Jamar Chase, Myles Garrett, Saquon Barkley, Brock Bowers,
and
and
you're
they
mentioning
actually
the
make
select
Talking
few
types
about,
of
we're
greats,
talking
big
about fucking
impact.
goddamn. You're
but
talking
we
about
got a
this.
whole
When
list
you
of
say
first
these
round
Brock
fucking
picks that
Bowers
players,
didn't make
wasn't
it,
a
Mike.
top
some
10
of you
pick,
are
by the
gonna
way.
fucking goddamn like they're gonna be
Okay, both of
studs.
y'all
You
talked
know
at the
they're
same
studs.
time. I didn't hear none of that.
They're studs. You
You're
see
talking
what they
about
did in college.
generational talent, though, Mike. That's the
Michael
Yeah,
thing. You're
okay,
Parsons
talking
you
about
and
are.
Von
You
generational
Bowers
are.
weren't
talent.
even a
Hey,
top
one at a
10
time. One
pick.
at a
dude.
time. One at a time.
Fuck
Go ahead,
you
JJ.
talking about, bro?
Oh, but
No.
don't that what happens
We're
at the
talking
first
about we're talking
beginning of
about
the
fucking
draft?
Brady
Don't the
Burners.
first picks
We're talking
that
about
normally the
we're talking about
generational
fucking
All
talent?
right,
guys.
one
Other
at a
guys.
time.
Come on,
And they
man.
One
come
at
Come
a
over
on,
there in
time.
the
bro.
We got
Drop
corner
that
stuff right
You
arguing.
rock.
gotta
here,
stop
AJ.
that, dude. You gotta
One
stop
at a
that, dude.
time. One at a time.
Stop that,
Go
dude.
Mike,
right
You gotta
here.
Mike,
stop that, bro.
how many Jamar Chases have been in the draft in the past 10 years?
There was two in the same draft.
Only
What are you
one.
talking about?
Only one. Only
Jamar
one.
Who's the second guy that's close to Jamar
Justin
Chase?
Jefferson. That's the second one.
Justin
That's the
Jefferson.
second one. All right, that's the second. Okay, so two.
So I said there was two in the same draft. So
So what
sit
the
back and
fuck you
shut. No,
talking
no, no,
about,
Jefferson was an
bro?
no, no.
Okay,
alien.
Hold
I'll
on
give you
now.
that. All right,
See,
yeah,
I'm
this
trying to
is
be nice.
Mike,
fucking
But
listen,
listen here.
listen. I'm
If
gonna
we
give
want
you
to go
those
through,
two.
no, shut up. It's
I'll
my
tell
turn
you those
now.
two where
If
you
we
get
gonna
tripping.
talk about it, let's talk about it.
you
The
talking shit,
percentage
bro.
of mega
You
stars
talking
are
about,
normally
bro.
drafted in the first round. If you
This
look
is
at the
fucking
fucking numbers, the motherfuckers that go to the Super
Mike,
Bowl, the motherfuckers that play in the Super Bowl, they all usually in the first fucking round,
what,
unless they're a running back.
this nigga's
I
fucking
rest
tripping,
my
bro.
case.
Or wide
This
receiver. Justin
man,
now, how
this
many
Jefferson.
nigga
picks
is
did it
fucking
take for them to get Jamar Chase? How many picks
this
did it
fucking
take for them
nigga.
to
Hey,
get
but wait a
Justin
minute. Hold
Jefferson?
on. No, time out. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, weren't they a year apart? They didn't come out the
Yes,
Yeah.
same year.
yes.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson came out
Chase
and
came
then
out a year later.
yeah, then Chase came out the
But
next
even
year.
still, that's 1 in 100 guys that you've gotten that's like that, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
no,
but
listen.
but you just proved the other dude's point who said it doesn't matter. It's the GM's responsibility to make the right pick.
But
Brock
Yeah.
Bowers,
exactly, how many
Justin
receivers have we
Jefferson,
drafted?
and even like Michael Parsons, those are all generational guys. They weren't even top 10 picks. So
Jamar
it
Chase
kind
was
of
pick
just
number
goes to
5.
show.
Jamar
No,
Chase
How
was
many
pick
wide
number
I didn't
5.
receivers have
say
we
Jamar
drafted?
Jamar Chase is a
Chase.
monster,
Yeah,
dude.
he's saying
Jamar
Justin
Chase is
Jefferson,
a
right?
fucking
Buddy,
monster,
clean your
dude.
ears. I didn't
Justin
even say
Jefferson.
Fucking
Jamar
monster,
Chase.
dude.
Okay, my fault.
He's a fucking
But
monster.
we
Whoa,
also
whoa, whoa,
got to
let's,
realize when we talking about the playmakers, the people we need the most is defense. How many Myles Garretts is drafted in
Is
the
it?
second round? How many fucking Aaron Donalds is drafted in the third round? How many top elite defensive players are drafted in other rounds on the defensive line? They're
yet
usually
again,
all drafted in the first
you mentioned
round.
all-time great players versus just good guys.
But wait a minute, hold on,
What?
Mike.
Whoa, whoa,
Like,
whoa, whoa!
listen,
Y'all,
Charles
look,
Let
listen
me
to what
Lily
I'm
is in
saying.
the first
let me
Listen to what
round.
I'm
say
saying,
one
guys.
thing.
Fuck
Hold
Boston,
on.
y'all. Get it, good guys.
I said that about every position, though. What you just said about edge rusher, yeah, they're talented players that are drafted in the later rounds every year. But for the most part, a lot of the good ones tend to be round one prospects. Like you can say that about,
No, but you
you can
gotta
say
look
that
at
about. I mean, look at my
Cody. You
edge
gotta
rusher,
look
dude.
at the
Max
range.
Crosby. Max Crosby went in the fourth round.
right.
You know, there have been a lot of players that have fallen in every position that
Wasn't
go
Dexter
on to be
Lawrence a
good.
second round pick?
No, Lawrence was a first round pick for the Giants when
He
they had
was?
two.
The
Yeah,
And
he
the
was
so
a
was
first
Nick
round pick
Bosa. So was
because
Joey Bosa. No, so
and
was Von Miller. So was
JJ.
most of the top
hey,
defensive ends in
Cody.
the
Yeah,
record
a
book.
lot of them are, but my point is that's true for most positions, though.
So y'all was just complaining how bad we draft,
and he's not
when it comes to the draft, and y'all answer is to go backwards and go wait for someone in the second round. And since we normally hit in the first round, and
No, you
there's
still have a first round pick. What are
in
you
the
talking
beginning of the
about,
first
Mike?
round.
Well, you're
What
gonna
are you
have
talking?
to do that.
You still have a first round pick.
Some position of need, you're gonna have to use your second round picks on rather than your first. So you only have one first round pick. So
you're right, but what I'm saying is we fucked up many times drafting defensive line in the second round. We fucked up a lot
Well, we
drafting in the
drafted
second
Brian
round.
Burns in the
And we
first
took
round.
pause. And I'm saying, as we have hit more than we have flopped in the top 10 picks. Now, here it is. We're in a position to possibly get the best defensive tackle or best edge rusher in the draft, possibly. That has the absolute most potential. And as y'all was complaining about how bad we draft as Carolina Panthers, y'all actually want to wait to the later rounds to draft one of these defensive
no,
fronts
I
that we
personally
desperately need.
agree. I agree. I would prefer to
There's
go
no
defensive
guarantee
line
that
in
the
my
top
first round.
round players are going to be great. You're
No
acting
shit.
like there's
Otherwise,
a
I'll play
sure
the
luck
lottery
of
tomorrow.
being great, and there's no proof of that.
No
So let's be
shit,
real.
dog.
Let's be real. Whether you get them in the second, third, fourth, or seventh round, you're going to take the same chances if you draft them in the first round. The only difference is if you trade up into the first round, you're throwing extra picks away,
Wait a minute.
open like hell.
Nobody said anything about trading up, Pickle.
Oh, wait. Let
what
me
I'm
ask you a question. Hold on, Mike. Look, can I at least ask this, though? Can we give Dan Morgan a little bit of grace and stop doing this shit where, oh, well, in the past, we've had a bunch of flops at yada, and we don't draft well, and yada. Like, it's a new era, man. We have to let Dan Morgan live and draft how he sees accordingly. Everybody was shitting all over Dan earlier this year, and then he turned it on and did some pretty good things, and now
Can
we're
I say
happy
this,
about what he might
Cody?
be able to
Can I
do.
say this, Cody, real quick? Can I say this, Cody, real quick?
Yeah.
Can't be saying yada yada yada. No, you gotta say what you gotta fucking say. Just say it,
Okay,
dude.
I'm also gonna say this. I understand y'all saying shit good about Dan Morgan, but he has not showed in the draft that he did anything good yet.
No.
And I hate to tell you guys that. I don't know what draft pick has got y'all hanging on to have so much faith in him, because there hasn't been one that he hit on from last year.
Dan Morgan hasn't hit on anyone.
What draft pick did he hit on?
Y'all brought up selecting Jamar Chase, but it's too early to criticize Dan. Or it's too early to criticize or over compliment Dan on this draft class. The season ain't even over yet. It's too early for that. But y'all brought up Jamar
He didn't
Chase
even have a
earlier.
first round
So
pick.
let's remember the only reason why the Bengals were in the situation to draft Jamar Chase was because Joe Burrow broke his leg. That's the only reason. And even then, there's a strong argument that the Bengals still screwed up because they should have took offensive line instead of.
That's not true. That's not true.
The
first part was, but that second part.
You know, the Bengals offensive line.
Jamar
been
Chase
there
was
for
always the
years,
correct
still is.
pick.
You take Joe Burrow, put him behind our offensive line, and you take Joe Burrow and Jamar Smith and put them behind our offensive line, we win Super Bowl.
And I'm here to tell you, everything you just said was the same reason why they drafted Xavier Leggett last year, because Bryce Young wanted Xavier Leggett just like Joe Burrow wanted Jamar Chase. My point being, right now,
Bryce Young wanted Xavier Leggett.
I never heard
Bryce
that.
Young and his father wanted Xavier Leggett. Now, the point being is, right now, we all can say the number one thing that's wrong with our team is the defense and stopping the run. Can we all agree?
Yeah, I agree. That's the biggest area of need.
Yeah.
So,
not getting pressure on the quarterback. Both of those.
Okay, so thank
Not
you.
having competent
right
pass
now,
catchers.
we
Mike, the
sit at
great
number
defensive
4, right?
tackles weren't drafted in the top 10.
Say what?
Just so you know. The great
What'd you say?
defensive ends that you were talking about, those great defensive linemen, they weren't drafted in the top 10, just so you know.
I said Myles Garrett. He was drafted
There
number
is
1.
That's Nick Bosa. That's fucking goddamn
Nick Bosa.
Myles
He was
Garrett.
number 1. Joey Bosa.
Right there, dude. What are you talking about, dude?
I have no clue what he's talking about. But what I'm gonna say is
Who's the ones he's talking about?
So what
What
I'm
are you
gonna say is
talking
this.
about, bro?
When you have someone,
The only two,
Aaron
the
Donald
only
was not a
two,
top 10 pick.
he was number 11. The only two premier D tackles is Derek Brown and Jalen Carter. Those were the only ones picked in the top 10 that are premier D tackles.
Please stop.
All right, so let's say this. Let's say this.
In recent
We don't
history,
know if we gonna run a 3-4 after this next year coming because everyone got one more year or not. There's literally an edge rusher that's supposed to be the best defensive player on the board that plays linebacker and defensive end. So just in case he leaves, he will fit perfect in a 3-4 or a 4-3 system. And for some reason,
Mike, transitions to anything you want to do. Transition to anything you want to do. You know that, right? It's called. That's why it's called transitional talent. Transitional talent transitions to anything you want to do. Okay.
All right. So look.
Get to the fucking point.
Okay. Let me bring this in. Let me bring this in. Hold up, Al. Let me bring this in a little bit. So, one, we've had a great discussion tonight. Real quick, though, I want to bring our attention to the Cowboys, man, because we can sit here, we can do this forever. I want y'all to give me some of your predictions. Give me your player of the game. Give me your final score, and just tell me how you see this matchup playing out here for the Panthers. Us welcoming the Cowboys is probably going to be flooded with fucking Cowboys fans, but at least we know it. I appreciate everyone for being on the show tonight. Alex, give me your final score, who wins, and who is your player of the game, bro?
I think it's going to be 23-17 Carolina, and Xavier Legette, player of the game, 2 touchdowns.
All right, man. I like that. I mean, to me, this could be a slugfest. I think they have a lot to prove. Both of these teams have a lot to prove right now. So it ought to be a good one. Al the Sailor, man, give me your final score, player of the game, and who wins, who gets the W.
I'm gonna go off the box. I think it's gonna be 17-10 Cooper Rush.
All right, 17-10 Cooper Rush. He's gonna ball out on us. All right. Okay, never mind. Let me go to
Come on.
Yeah. No, he's allowed to All right. Let me go to 336. I appreciate you for coming on the show today, bro. Tell me what you think about this. What do you think about this Panthers game? Who's gonna win? What's the final score? And give me a player of the game for this matchup, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, Cody. Give me 27-9 Panthers. I think the Cowboys get 3 field goals. They're in turmoil right now. Give me Adam Thielen again, like I said last week, man. He was player of the game, best player on the field to me last week. I take him again this week.
All right. Dude, that would be a hell of a victory if we didn't let them score a touchdown. They had to kick field goals. I'm here for it, bro. That's what's up. Let me go to my man, Mike. Mike, I appreciate you, bro. It's been a spirited discussion, as always. Happy we could be here for you today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. What do you think about this matchup? Who's going to win? What's the final score? And give me a player of the game, bro.
Final score, I'm looking at 24. I'm gonna say 24-11. I think they'll get a touchdown, but only 2 field goals after that.
All right.
Player of the game, I want to say co-player of the game. So it's gonna be Chuba Hubbard and Xavier Legette. They're gonna try to feed him the ball.
Okay. I like that all day, man. I appreciate you, man. Let me go to my man JJ. JJ, you know I appreciate you, bro. Give me your
Goodbye, so long, farewell. It ain't a loss, it's just a lesson in the story to tell.
Oh shit.
Hey,
Damn.
it is Ohio State song.
Damn. All right. I feel you, JJ.
It's just a blessing in disguise. I know the story so well. That's what Rod Wave told Bryce Young. and that's why Bryce Young gonna tell us a story this Sunday with the W.
Woo!
26-23. Panthers get the dub.
26-23. Bryce Young, player of the game. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Jake, you still with me,
Are
bro?
we getting a safety?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man. Give me your player of the game. Who's gonna win and what's the final score?
Hell yeah. We're gonna win, y'all, and we're gonna win 24-17. And Chuba Hubbard's gonna be player of the game. Also,
Yeah.
Tar Heels, we up.
Ah, shit. You know that's not true. No, I'm happy y'all got Belichick, though. That ought to be fun, man. But y'all still about to lose the ACC to my Tigers, so, yeah, you know.
Y'all about to get beat by Texas. I ain't worried
Nah,
about
the
y'all.
hell we not. Shut up, Jake.
Them nigga Tigers about to be dead in 2 years. Ain't gonna be
Man, y'all about to find out. Nah, y'all
Cody.
about to find out. My Tigers ain't
Yo,
going
we about to
nowhere,
win the
bro.
title. Watch
No,
out.
we're the real king of the jungle.
You and Juice coming up, bro.
Hey,
What
thank you,
the fuck?
Diesel Skills.
Move on with the
My
show.
nickname used to be Usher back in the day.
Well,
Boo,
no,
how about
we
in here?
want to talk
How
real
about right
football.
now
We talk
in here?
SEC.
In here we have a Clemson fan. We got 2 Ohio State fans. We got a
I'm a
Tennessee
Florida State
fan.
fan. Yeah, I'm a Florida State fan. Fuck that. Yeah, definitely.
Ew, man. You should get
Florida
rid of
State
it.
ain't no real football
He
team.
said, "Hell, man."
Florida
Whoa!
State.
Time out.
Boy,
Time out.
they in the
Adam,
bottom of the
Joe,
dumpster.
did you say you was a Florida State fan?
He said, "Ill, man."
Yo,
Ew.
he
Did
said
you
it with
say
his
that?
chest. That's
Gary
what
be
fucked my
Al,
head up.
Al,
Ew.
did you say you was a Florida State fan?
Yes,
With his
sir.
chest. With his
Yeah,
chest.
bro. With my chest.
Now it all makes sense. I'll leave it at that. Everything all makes sense now. Now we know why Al's like he
Hey,
is. That's all right. You can't help how you
hey,
are.
Al. Hey, Al, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There was some shit on the bottom of my shoe the other day, and I looked under my shoe and I realized it was the Florida State logo.
That's
Nah,
the
damn,
way to
y'all
go, bro. You gotta
704
talk
started
about
about
this.
says Al is not a FUS fan. We don't claim him.
I am a Florida
They
State
don't claim
fan.
them.
I've been there for
Hey,
my fucking whole career.
imagine a
The fuck, my whole
2-win
life.
team not claiming you, bro. That is crazy.
What's so crazy is he said that shit to the nigga the other day and had me dying. I was cracking up.
Hey, what's
Oh my
crazy
god,
is
that was a funny podcast.
what's crazy is how my
I'm a
Tigers
fucking Florida State fan.
are about to run.
Okay, you heard that shit the other day.
My Tigers about to run roughshod in this bitch, and you know
Fucking love
we
Florida
about
State.
to upset Texas, and then we got the easiest road to the championship, baby. So
And you're
watch
not
out for
gonna
Yeah,
my
y'all get beat, Cody.
Tigers, dog. Watch
Can I
out for
ask you a
my
question, Cody? Why did they
Tigers,
leave
dog.
Florida? Why did they leave Miami out of the fucking goddamn the
Huck 'em.
playoffs?
Man,
None
fuck
of this shit
Miami.
matters,
Because
dog.
y'all
Like
lost
Drake
to Kyle
said.
I don't give
McCord.
a fuck about Miami, bro.
Like Drake said, I see all through this bullshit through my Ohio State Buckeyes.
Through
We the
my
ones that
Ohio
stuff.
State Buckeyes.
As G
Man,
Baby would say, huck 'em.
I see all this money through my Ohio State Buckeyes.
I don't even know
you know
nothing about
what?
a Tennessee.
All
They take y'all serious. I'm
Uh,
gonna be honest.
Jay, Jay, did you give me your
I have to say that this whole show. Y'all read this shirt. Shut the hell up.
Tell 'em, Pickle.
Jay, did you give me your predictions?
Yeah, I said 24-17. We win.
24-17 Carolina.
Then they have
Who's
like
your
Henry
player of the
Hooker or
game?
something.
I got Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba. Right on, right on. I'll do mine real quick. I'll say we're gonna win 27-17. Player of the game, Xavier Leggett has a bounce back game, catches 2 touchdowns, and has a $115 receiving.
Y'all make a nigga want to put him in my daily fantasy the way y'all
Yeah,
talking.
hey
But I was
man,
thinking the same thing.
yeah man, use that promo code C3 CP3 baby. You already know. CP, actually, there it is. Panther Pickle. Last but not least, give me the player of the game, final score, and who's walking away with the dub.
First of all, let me tell you something. These put the link in earlier. Maybe he'll put it in. Y'all need to buy you some C3 merchandise. Help your brothers out. You can get this shirt right here. It says "Shut the hell up" for Christmas. Let me tell you how you do this. You get you one
Hey,
of
I
these
got one more thing
where
to
you
say.
give to somebody, and here's how you do it. When somebody says "Merry Christmas," say "Shut the hell up." That will be the most memorable Christmas you ever had. Maybe from
Hey,
a hospital.
Pickle.
Yeah, that's your business, not mine.
Hey, Pickle,
Hey,
man.
Cody.
Fucking goddamn. They've been fucking goddamn at my school. I work at a fucking goddamn high school, right? As a cafeteria worker, right?
Yeah.
Yo, they've been playing fucking goddamn Christmas music since before fucking goddamn Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's so fucking annoying. I hate it so much.
Christmas spirit, Al.
Yeah,
Christmas spirit, Al.
Christmas spirit.
That
Yeah,
C3
Cody.
cup. That
It's
C3
not
cup.
the spirit. Fuck the spirit. Fuck
No,
that,
hey,
dude.
hey,
No,
no,
it's
the only,
Fuck this spirit.
the only spirit you need is
Yo,
Carolina
these
Cat
old
Chronicles.
white women.
CarolinaCatChronicles.com gets you that C3 Panthers podcast shirt, give you that C3 coffee mug
I got
to
the coffee
start
mug.
your Sunday morning the right way. We appreciate y'all, man. Panther Pickle.
Hey.
Give me your player of the game, final score, and who's going.
Also, for those who have a dirty mouth, you can buy Listermint at Walmart. Not too bad. But anyway, back to the story at hand. The game, I think Chuba Hubbard, because I think Chuba Hubbard's going to have a breakout game. Cowboys are awful against the run. Chuba Hubbard puts up over 200 yards rushing and 3 TDs. And
Oh my
Jesus.
goodness.
Breakout game.
Hey,
Cody,
He already had a breakout game when he signed his contract. This nigga gonna have a legendary game.
That's the score, 28-6.
28-6. All right.
Damn it, Pickle.
All right, JJ.
And the following Monday, Mike McCarthy is fine.
Yeah, I love that.
The return of the Grim
Reaper's
Reaper.
coming for him. Grim
I got a
Reaper.
good ass fun fact for everyone.
Yeah, what's up?
And it's about college football, man. Hey, Cody Lack, my Buckeyes and your Clemson Tigers got something in common.
What's
Hell, we even got something in common with Pickles Volunteers, man. We all got the same amount of SEC championships since 2000, bro.
Hey,
Like,
you know what?
hey, look at
Hey, you know what?
us.
I ain't
Look
never
at
seen a
us.
volunteer. I ain't never seen a volunteer hold up no gold. I ain't never seen a volunteer hold a gold up.
What about before 2000?
Hey, we don't care about that. That
You
was
said
BI.
before
That was
2000?
before internet.
Hey, how many championships do y'all have in
If
the
you
last
win a title
10
before
years?
Google, I don't want to hear about it. You're like a
Hey,
Dallas Cowboy fan.
how about this? If y'all, how about this? If y'all,
If it was
if
before the
y'all don't have
21st
a
century,
team,
it don't count.
listen. If y'all don't have a team that's won a championship since 2016, then y'all ain't got room to talk. That's all I'm saying, bro. Them championships are all that matters. This has been another edition
One thing about
of the
championship, all
C3
that matters, we know
Friday
South
for all.
Carolina and Florida State don't belong in there.
That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. C3 Nation, we love y'all. This has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free For All. We will be back right after the game on
Vols
Sunday for
Go
the
Ohio
C3
State.
post game show, and we will be reacting to
Go
everything
Buckeyes.
in Panther Nation.
Hey,
Yes,
go
how
Bill
these boys
Belichick.
don't
That's
even
what
know
you
how
need
to
to
shut
say,
up for a
Jake, from
minute.
here on out.
Ah, damn. All right, this has been another edition.
Keep pounding
Love you, Cody.
C3.
Bye.
Much love, man.